right, good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? We're going to call a meeting to order for November 21st, 2024. Madam Clerk, pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilman Asbill.
Present.
Councilman Buddy.
Present.
Councilman Chatelain.
Present.
Councilman Johnston.
Present.
Councilman Ricks.
Present.
Mayor Baudier.
Present.
Police Chief LaPree. Fire Chief St. Cyr absent. Finance Director Todd Turnion.
Present.
City Attorney Scott Stansberry.
Present.
Myself, Carrie Hustis, Clerk. Present. Mayor's announcements.
Councilman Chatelain,
Mayor, I'd like to amend the agenda.
go ahead.
I'd like to amend the agenda to pull ordinance 2024-18 to the beginning, which it is pretty much at the beginning.
Okay.
And I'd also like to add from the floor resolution 2024-15.
Okay. So we have a motion by Councilman Chatelain to amend the agenda to move up to the current 2024-18, and then also an amendment to amend the agenda to add ordinance 2024-15.
2024-15
At the
under
resolution.
Resolution. Okay. We'll open for public hearing.
Wait,
All right.
bring that
No.
from the floor.
Yep, we're going to pull that from the floor.
We're
Gotta
going to
open it.
vote on,
Yep, we're going to vote it, yeah. So now we'll close public hearing. Okay, well, all in favor to amend the agenda for Councilman Chatelain's to one resolution, one ordinance?
We're amending for both at one time?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
all right.
All right, all in favor?
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay. All right, 5 yeas, 0 nays. Agenda is amended. Madam Clerk?
Okay, so we're going to jump real fast to ordinances for approval, and we're going to bring up proposed ordinance number 2024-18. And that is an ordinance approving the rezoning of lots 1A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, and 15, Square 5, and Lot 100 through 116, Square 2, Hickory Haven Subdivision, City of Harahan, Parish of Jefferson, State of Louisiana, from R1 Single Family Residential to GO-M General Office Mixed Use, and directing, authorizing, and empowering the planning director for the City of Harahan to alter and amend the official map of the city.
Okay, so
I'm making a motion,
Councilman, go ahead.
remove this ordinance.
So Councilman Chatelain wants to make a motion to withdraw proposed ordinance 2024-18. We have a second by Councilman Johnson. We'll open for public hearing. Anyone want to discuss the withdrawal of the motion? No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. All in favor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Come on. Yes.
Yeah, we're withdrawing it.
She can still talk.
You can still talk. You came out, so you can still talk.
Good evening. I'm glad to hear that it's being withdrawn, but it's a little frustrating because I think there's a...
Could you say your name and address, please?
I am so sorry. My name is Sharon Sagastumi, and I live on Hickory in between Save and Dock Street, in the area that was going to be rezoned, and I'm very happy to hear that it's been pulled because, needless to say, I'm against it. I have a long list of reasons, which I won't go into since it's been pulled. But this is the second time that there has been a rezoning request on my block within 10 years. And both times, we have rallied the troops, we've gotten neighbors pulled together that are against it, and then y'all pull it. So I'm asking you that, please, can y'all not do this again? We want to keep our residential neighborhood. It's not Imperial Woods, it's not fantastic, but it's our homes. And we keep being hit with this rezoning. You get us all riled up. We've got people here that have not gone to other things. Like I had another meeting to come to. I came here because I want to represent my neighborhood, my house. So can this please quit happening? I don't know what we need to do to get...
I don't think we can control that.
Right, if someone asks us to
If someone
have the
asks for a
ordinance,
rezoning,
we
we need to go
bring it
through the
up.
Okay,
process.
but we've never been told who asked this to begin with. That was one of our frustrations, that I watched the October council meeting online, And you mentioned that it was an official from out, that has a family member living here.
Correct.
Then at the zoning meeting, it was mentioned that it was the city that wanted to do this. So we're all very confused about this. So I do have petitions, so I would like to leave this with y'all. These are people on Hickory and on Generis, because Generis would be affected by this also, who have signed this stating that they don't want this. There's a lot of retired people who don't want to move, myself being one of them. People on Generis would be impacted because they would have to be backed up to businesses. It would cause more flooding. So I really do hope that if this is brought up again, that maybe there'll be some really good consideration and people would come and see where, what's going on in our areas, because we really don't want to have any more commercial on Hickory, where there's 2 residential blocks left, and I realize that there's a desire for more commercial, but we're residential blocks with people who live there. So we would appreciate if, I know you can't stop people from requesting it, but I'm just asking that we don't go through this again, please.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming up.
Council, I would make a motion to add the citizens petition to the minutes on the agenda underneath the item.
Okay, so we have a motion.
Second.
All right, will you wait, let's let's vote on the withdrawal first. Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Chatelain. We'll now close public hearing. Motion by Councilman Chatelain to withdraw.
Before we withdraw it, should we add this to it? Yeah.
Okay. All right, so before we withdraw, we'll add the petition to proposed ordinance number 2024-18. So we'll go ahead, and that's a motion by Councilman Chatelain, motion by Councilman
anybody else-
Hasbill, second by Councilman Chatelain.
Did anybody else want to speak?
Anybody else want to speak? We'll open for public hearing one more time because we have to go to vote on this. All right, no one else coming forward? Just all in favor?
Yay.
Yeah, okay, so the petition will be added into the minutes and the ordinance for record and put in the record by the city clerk. And now we have a motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Hasbill to withdraw.
Johnston.
I'm lying, my bad. We have a motion by Councilman Chatelain, a second by Councilman Johnston to withdraw 2024-18. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance is withdrawn. All right, Madam Clerk?
Want to jump into that resolution?
Yeah, we're going to go back to, because
You go back to
and you'll just take resolutions back
Minutes
in.
and all that.
All right, we're going back to order. So special presentations, Hurricane Ida FEMA update.
Okay, I'll kind of give the FEMA update a little bit since I didn't do a mayor's announcement. We've closed out, I think we had about 16 project work orders, they're called PWs. We're down to 2, the 2 biggest ones, one being the roof for the gym and the fire department. We're on our 3rd set of FEMA officials, and it has been quite a daunting task working with FEMA and the federal government, and then now we're going to work with them through a presidential transition, which hopefully may move things better in the right direction, maybe streamline a few things if we can get rid of some bureaucracy there. But we're working on the last 2 biggest projects right now. We're closing up all the rest of the PWs as we speak, and that's pretty much just it on FEMA. The goal is with you guys and what's becoming real technical and difficult with FEMA is that we believe the fire station is completely destroyed, and FEMA has a scoring system where it has to be a 50+1% in order to do a demo instead of a rebuild. It's called a it's a rebuild, and so we're fighting over that because we think if we just bring the building up to code, it automatically puts us at 82 or 83%. So the fire department, the fire building needs to come down. It's a plus 50 years old, and so that's what we're pushing and really working hard to get is a new fire station, one that we can bring up to date and one that doesn't have any issues like what we have going on now. The guys are still living in a trailer home. It's been tough to deal with over the past 3 years, I'm sure, for them. But we love our firemen, and we're trying to get them the best into this product that we possibly can. It's just been a lot of work. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of phone calls, a lot of meetings.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, quick question on specific to the fire station. Last time the engineer was here, and I can't recall his name right now, from Meyer, Donovan. He said that they had put in a request for the scoring system. Do we know if we've received that, if they're going to give it to us?
No, we have received it. It's like at 49.2%.
Okay. And then, what is, you said there's two major projects, what is the other major project?
The
that's
roof
still-
for, the roof of the gym of the.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Funding for it, got it.
Yes, sir.
And
Okay.
I don't know if everybody
The
understands.
gym, they did approve for us to move forward and make the repair
Yeah.
because we weren't fighting to get a new building, but they didn't approve the funding 100% yet, so we still working.
And
on the funding.
also, I don't know if the great people here understand that, you know, with FEMA, if you touch a building before it's approved, your funds are canceled.
Yeah.
It's terrible how the government works, but it is how it works, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, and just in that moment, while we're talking about this update, I want to let everybody know, the past fire chief, Jimmy Pretlove, passed away over the weekend. He was very beloved. He was very, her and Mr. Jermaine were very close to probably all of us, and if we can take a moment of silence and reflection of him and his family, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk.
Okay, approval of minutes, reading of the minutes of the council meeting on October 17th, 2024.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the meetings of the council from the council meeting on October 17th,
Dispense.
Move to dispense
2024?
with the reading.
We have a motion by Councilman Asbill to dispense with the readings. We'll now open for public hearing. No one coming forth. Can I have a second to dispense with the reading of the
Second.
minutes? Second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk,
Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on October 17th, 2024.
can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the October meeting on the 17th, 2024?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Riggs. We'll now for public hearing. Anyone coming forth? No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Can I get a second to approve those amendments?
Second.
Second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, minutes are approved.
Communications, reading of the minutes of the planning and zoning meeting on November 6th, 2024.
Okay, can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes from the planning and
Motion.
zoning? We have a motion by Councilman Buddy. We'll now open for public hearing. Better move fast, boy.
Maurizio Francescon. I have a question about the communications. For planning and zoning, how many people do you have to be there to have a quorum?
It is a majority plus one of the current makeup of the board.
So that's 5.
Whatever the current, how many do you have appointed?
There are 5 appointees.
Appointees?
Right.
Currently? Then
Yes.
you would need 3 to have a quorum.
Well, I was just wondering, because it says in the city charter and the, the municipal code and the, by state legislatures, you have to have 5. 9 total is what's allotted, but 5.
Up to 9, and so it's a floating quorum. We changed it because it's a floating, we changed it to a floating quorum. So if you don't have 9 appointees, if you only have 7 appointees, then you would just need the 4.
Okay. So to have a quorum, you have to have 3.
Correct.
Okay.
If you currently only have 5 appointees, then you
If you
would
had
just need
7
3.
appointees,
You would
Then
need 4.
you need
4.
4.
What if there's a tie?
I'd like to interject that I'm looking at the minutes, and this may not be correct, but it shows 8. 4 present, 4 absent. So this may not be updated.
The problem is
Right.
you don't have 8 members.
we only have 7.
I don't know if you remember, but the reason why we did it is so when people came here, they actually had if they actually had an opportunity to be heard and not have to come back because we didn't have a large enough quorum.
Right. No, I was just wondering, because when I was the chairman of the board, and it was, I think, dealing with the Colonial, is I had 4 people, but I could not have a quorum. I don't remember how many members are on at that time, but I could not.
You had more members at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so according to the minutes, it says there were 8 appointees, only 4 were present, so you didn't technically have a quorum. If you're 8 appointees, you would need a 5-person to have a
Okay.
quorum. Right? Is
Right.
that what you were saying, Mr. Buddy?
Yeah,
Ms. Magine, please.
So I was just wondering, out of concern is if we had a quorum in order to have, because I was there last
Doesn't
2
look
weeks
like it.
ago.
No, it doesn't.
So That was the only issue that I have. And not that I'm not trying to make it an issue, but obviously from a city standpoint, you want to make sure everything's your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted
So the good
in that
thing is-
situation,
Yeah, the good thing is it's moot because it was withdrawn.
Right. I just, but I just
If it
wanted
wasn't
to,
withdrawn, then we would have had to send it back to planning.
And they denied the hearing because of application and something else.
there's some other,
they
that's
did
some
not
other
vote.
issues,
They
yeah.
did
It was
not
a
vote.
3-1 vote,
Yeah,
so, okay. I just
Mayor,
wanted to bring
are you looking
to
at the
attention.
list, the minutes? If you look at the minutes for the planning and zoning, there are 8 individuals listed. Do you know if all 8 of these are still current or have some resigned?
Unless I had met with, and I believe I'm not 100% sure on every member there, but I'll go over it on Monday and make sure they are all current, but I believe they are.
Okay. Because Gwen Grilletto's still on here, and I didn't know if he was getting off.
So if anybody wants to nominate themselves to be on planning and zoning, we'd love to have you.
Open spot.
Yeah, with lots of open spots, we'd love to have somebody.
Anybody?
Darlene.
Zane? Anybody? Miss Kathy?
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
That's one way to make sure your neighborhood never gets rezoned.
No, seriously, folks, everybody wants us to go through a process, but that's a volunteer board. We don't have the money to pay people to sit on that board. We'd have to come back and raise taxes to do it. So please consider joining the board. It meets at most once a month, probably meets 8-9 times a year on average. And they consider this type of issue, and you get to have some input. You get to have a say in the matter. So please consider it. I know we laugh when we talk about volunteering and stepping up, but we need volunteers to make the city work. So thank you.
Okay, so we have, we'll now close public hearing. We have a motion to
Miss
dispense
Magine,
with.
did you want to come up? Please.
I forgot who made the motion.
Magine Cazenave, Oak Avenue, Harahan, Louisiana. How many members do you need on the zoning board? Not that you need now, how many people is supposed to be on the zoning board?
It's up to 9.
We had 9 people when I was on the zoning board for 30 years. We had 9 people to choose from
Right.
every month. And we very seldom ever had nobody come to our meetings.
So, Ms. McGean, you're saying you want to be appointed
No,
to the
hey,
planning and zoning board?
not,
I'm pretty sure that's
not
what I
now,
heard you
not
say,
at
Ms.
my age, that's for sure. But I was on it for 30 years, and we never did ever go below 9 people. We always had 9 people. And it makes it easier for you
You're
to
right.
get people to come every month when you can have 9 people.
Ms.
But
Magine,
you
I'm
were
gonna,
one of the greatest, right? You were one of the
Well,
greatest
hey.
generation, and they were, and
I was on it when Paul Johnson was mayor.
and Ms. Magine, I'm
tell
gonna
you.
explain to you real quick. We're missing a lot of volunteers in our community. When my kids played ball at the playground, we had a very active athletic association. The concession stands were open every night. Nowadays, these parents come to us and complain the concession stands aren't open.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you need to volunteer. Well, it was open when you were here. We worked that concession stand. Anybody who wants to volunteer for the athletic association to help with any of that stuff, we're open to talk to anyone.
Well, that's
But
the
people just
problem. That's
are
the
young
problem today.
and
Nobody wants
involved,
to
and no one wants to
volunteer.
have volunteer to help.
Nobody wants to volunteer. Everybody expects to be paid for everything they do. And it doesn't work that way.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Madam
you.
Clerk, who made the motion?
For what?
We had a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes? All right, we had a motion by Councilman Buddy. We'll now close public hearing. We have a second by Councilman Ricks. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk.
Approval of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning meeting on November 6th,
All right,
2024.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the planning and zoning meeting on November 6th?
Motion.
We have a motion by Councilman Ricks. We'll now open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Can I have a second to approve the minutes?
council
Second.
discussion.
Second by Councilman Buddy. Motion by Councilman Ricks, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Council
Yay.
discussion. Quick.
Oh,
quick
okay.
council
Go ahead.
discussion. I'm going to vote nay just because they didn't have a quorum. I don't think we should approve minutes when they didn't have a quorum. So remember that.
I don't think you should at the meeting, but
I don't disagree, but
I didn't say nothing because they withdrew it. That's why I didn't say nothing.
I'm going to vote to approve the minutes because the minutes
Yeah.
were taken.
I vote to approve the minutes, and I'm remembering 6, 7 years ago when I was on the board, we never had minutes. So this is great. I'm voting to approve them.
All right, so we have, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
Nay.
All opposed, nay. 4 yeas, 1 nay. Madam Clerk, please record for the record. Resolutions?
Proposed resolution 2024-14. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Chatelain, a resolution requesting the Harahan legislative delegation to oppose terminating the state film tax incentives and providing for related matters.
Yeah. All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Chatelain to, now let's just move forward. What do you want to keep it? We'll just move forward with it if you want.
The
It's been
state already
approved.
passed it.
The state approved.
Okay, so we have a motion to.
Motion to withdraw.
We have a motion by Councilman Chatelain to withdraw proposed resolution 2024-14. I will now for public hearing. No one coming forth will now close public hearing. Can I have a second to?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Ricks to withdraw. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, proposed resolution 2024-14 has been withdrawn.
We basically removed that. State already approved it, so it makes no sense for us to put this through.
Okay, and we're adding this one from the floor. Proposed resolution 2024-15. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Asbill, a resolution supporting the establishment of alternative residential options for elderly and disabled individuals.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Chatelain on proposed ordinance number 2024-15. We're now over public.
Councilman Asbill.
It was Chatelain's the one who brought it from the
That's
floor.
Councilman Asbill?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Thank
Okay.
you.
She
We're
said
now
that.
open for public hearing.
Does anybody want to speak on that?
Yeah, they can't.
Hi, I'm Carolyn May. It's nice to meet y'all. I just wanted to make a brief statement.
Give the address.
Oh, it's 7501 Wilson Street. I wanted to thank everyone that has helped us and for the opportunity to speak with y'all tonight. City Hall has been very helpful with the paperwork of getting our adult residential care facility opened. The Johnson family has been so supportive. They're the owners of the property right now. I wanted to thank them. They've lived in Harahan since the 1960s.
Can you talk into the mic a little more? They can't hear you.
Okay. They've lived in Harahan since the 60s, and they faced taking care of their parents as they got elderly. So they know firsthand what we're trying to do. I've been a nurse for 25 years. I've worked most of my career in home health. I started out with a route going into patients' homes and taking care of them. I then moved up to being a manager of the patients with all different diagnoses and trying to manage those. I then transitioned into the director of the Gulfport office for 7 years, where I oversaw, I had 210 patients, and I had 47 employees. I just want to make it known that we want to be an asset to the city of Harahan, to the community. We don't want to be a strain on the city at all. We want to be involved in making everything better. I just wanted to thank you again for this opportunity, and please feel free to call with any questions.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we got a few people in the audience that'll look at, this was added from the floor. I get a copy made and hand them to y'all. This was added tonight. If you'd like a copy, I'll get a copy made and give it to you.
We can just,
Can you repeat what this?
yeah, you mind if I just,
Go ahead.
I can read it real fast, but that's going to be fast. So it's a resolution supporting the establishment of alternative residential options for elderly and disabled individuals. Whereas the city of Harahan recognizes the importance of fostering an inclusive and supportive community for all residents, including elderly and disabled individuals. And whereas the elderly and disabled population in the city of Harahan has specific housing needs that may not adequately meet traditional residential options. And whereas it is the city's desire to promote the health, safety, and well-being of elderly and disabled residents by providing access to a range of appropriate
and accessible housing options, and whereas alternative residential options, including assisted living facilities, accessible apartments, shared housing, independent communities, and group homes can provide a supportive and community-oriented living environment for elderly and disabled individuals, whereas the availability of such alternative housing options can improve the quality of life for elderly and disabled residents, allowing them to maintain independence while receiving necessary support and care, and whereas the City of Harahan seeks to encourage the development and establishment of such residential options to meet diverse needs of its elderly and disabled populations. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and the City Council of Harahan that the City of Harahan supports the establishment of alternative residential options for elderly and disabled individuals, including but not limited to promoting the development of accessible and affordable housing tailored to the needs of elderly and disabled residents, encouraging private and nonprofit organizations to invest in the creation of assisted living facilities, independent living communities, and other supportive residential environments, facilitating partnerships between local, state, and federal agencies to secure funding and resources for development of alternative housing options, reviewing and updating zoning regulations and building codes to allow and encourage the construction of accessible and supportive housing, and engaging the community and relevant stakeholders to identify specific needs and opportunities for creating a diverse range of housing options that cater to elderly and disabled individuals. Be it further resolved that the City of Harahan will continue to work with community partners, housing developers, and social service organizations to explore innovative and sustainable options to support the housing needs of elderly and disabled residents. So what does that say? So what it does is we've got this company. They have found we have one in Harahan already, an assisted living facility that is residential based in a home. We've got 6 individuals in it. It's on Colonial Club Drive, and they've been a great community partner. And I know, working in this field, that housing options for independent or assisted living are not great. And us being an older community, to be quite honest, we need places where people can start to age in place in their community and still be a part of their community. And that's what the people have applied for. Now, the problem is our ordinances date back to the 1990s, where these types of options were discouraged. And so this resolution, we're working on amending those ordinances, but this resolution provides some reassurance to particularly this company who's ready to move now, that we are working to make it to make this an option in the City of Harahan.
May I say something, Mayor?
Yeah, you want to let me close public hearing first?
Yes, sir.
All right, public hearing is still open if anybody else wants to speak. Come.
Oh, yeah, the Magnolia House.
Good evening. My name's Josie Bernard. I actually live on Monroe Street. My daughter lives on Wilson, 7100 Wilson. She's a... I always mix our addresses up.
She lives next door.
7507, yeah, she lives next door. But she's a first-time home buyer. She wanted to stay in Harahan and make Harahan her home, which, of course, we as her parents love that. And we're not so against the assisted living. I took care of my parents for 9 years. They lived on West Imperial for 40 years and took care of them. And I know a lot of the things that come with that. I'm not a nurse, but it's a job. It's a full-time job. And some of our concerns or even wishes, almost, I'd have to say, or some of the things that come with that. The last year of my father's life, we did have to put him in a memory care facility. But sanitation is one thing, and I know we have garbage pickup twice a week. And I was speaking with somebody in the zone, and they didn't think you could do a third time a week. I know they were open to possibly doing something, because if it's 10 people, and if they're incontinent, you know, that comes with a degree. Nobody living around that wants that around their home. And if you're sitting and enjoying your backyard, it's, you know, that could be a potential problem. And also food waste. You know, I know when my parents were older, a lot of times, you know, they just didn't eat like they should, and things it's not a family of 4 type of thing. It's maybe potentially 10 residents, I think she said, but, and some other concerns that maybe even they have is lighting on Wilson, just in that block, it's kind of dark there, and the sidewalks don't go all the way, and I mean, if some of the residents are able to go out and walk, I think they would want to, you know, I would think, but, and I don't know if that's just a no-go as far as sanitation goes. That's just too bad. It's twice a week, and that's what you get.
No, I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
no,
alternatives.
No, I think there's, I think, you know, with allowing these places, the facilities, at the end of the day, they're businesses as well.
Right.
And they're going to have to understand that it may come with increase of regulation that the neighbors don't have.
Right.
And so when we're reviewing these ordinances and looking through all of them, there will be increased regulation on some, and even maybe increased impact fees on some of these things to make
Sewage.
sure. Right, to make sure that, that those things are taken care of, because it is more pressure on the system, whatever the system is, trash, sewer, water, sidewalks, than a regular residential home. So I think if you're in the business and you don't understand that, then maybe we don't want you here as a business, but I think this particular situation, they do understand that there may be increased regulation, increased fees, and things like that.
How would that be handled, though, if, you know, our regular garbage pickup is twice a week?
Through regulatory, but they would probably have to hire a private company that would do pickup.
And is that something y'all would pass, that would be required, or how would y'all do that?
It
I
would
mean,
definitely be
how do-
proposed to the council. I mean, I don't know what how the council's going to
Yeah,
vote until we
I would
put
say
something
they would
together, but-
try with their regular trash pickup, and if it's not satisfiable, code enforcement would come in and say, guys, y'all not meeting the sanitary requirements, we need to add this to you. But we did talk to them already about charging them commercial sewer rates and water rates, because it is a bigger impact on our
It is.
community and our, you know, our system. And I know you at the meet and greet, and you had a lot of great questions, and I believe they agreed to a lot of your questions. They weren't opposed to any of them. I know we talked about diaper genies and everything else, you know. we
Well,
had
I
to
mean,
see
that's
how
for
it works.
babies, you know, and I mean,
Yeah,
and
but
I don't want to
they might have
offend
a big one.
anybody, I don't want to upset anybody, it just
It's
comes
part of
with
life.
it.
Yeah.
It just comes with it.
I mean,
And
it's better than an
mean,
option.
Well, you know, right, and, you know, and her being a young new home buyer, and I mean, they've got other neighbors there as well. I mean, I live behind a business as well. I live right behind the Happy Italian. And I will have to say, even though I wasn't crazy about, I mean, I went through Quiznos with people eating in my driveway every day. It was a bad start, but Happy Italian has really been good neighbors, I have to say. Better than I expected. They don't have a whole lot of food waste. I mean, we have rats, but everybody has that. And we, you know, we put up, I put up rat killer, but, you know, that's a little different.
Well, I think,
And they do have commercial-sized garbage cans, and people do dump crawfish heads in them and everything else too. I mean, we have to, so that's what I think about the odor. I have to deal with that in my backyard, so.
I believe this would be monitored a little more than backing up against commercial.
And the state would do that, or?
First, yeah, you're going to have health and hospitals coming out, you know, from the state that's going to regulate most of their stuff. They're going to have
Right.
fire marshal come out before they would open. They'd have a fire marshal inspection. They have to add sprinkler systems.
Right.
They have to get 2-inch water mains. I mean, they have a lot of stuff to go through code enforcement and building and everything else. And I do want to apologize, because I did tell you they applied and their application was here. Their application was actually given to them. They filled it out and brought it to Jefferson Parish.
Okay, yeah, because I
And
know
we
you're.
never had it here, and that's why, so I told you wrong,
Right.
and I'll take that, but I mean, I think it was a mishap and transition from where it went, and it didn't come back here. So I do want to apologize, because I did tell you that application was already in place, and it was not here in Harahan. It actually got brought to Jefferson Parish on an accident.
Okay.
I wanna-
Yeah, because I knew,
I want to
I didn't
apologize
think y'all
to you,
had
because
that.
I told you we had it, and I'm apologizing we did
Okay.
not have it at the time I told you that.
Apology accepted. And the other thing I question too is, I know you said that it was going to remain residential zoning,
Yes, ma'am.
so it could always be turned back into just a
Yes, ma'am.
single-family home.
It couldn't be turned from anything from this, like,
But that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
So going forward in the future, say it doesn't work out, I don't want to say that, but could it be turned into like a youth group home?
nope,
So it
totally
is-
different.
Y'all would,
It is a conditional use for these people and this company. If another company comes in and wants to do the same thing, they have to reapply and do the same thing that these people are going through.
Okay. And do y'all know how often it has to be monitored? Is that a monthly thing by the state?
Oh, I'm not sure of that, to be
State
honest with you.
regulates that. I wouldn't be able to tell you that answer.
But I will say that the state statute that governs all of this is also specific to disabilities and elderly.
Right.
It does not specifically allow, your rehab houses, your halfway houses, anything like that.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
would be a
different
concern.
category that we're not even getting into.
Okay, so that wouldn't be encompassed in this?
It would not be.
this- Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I think that's all I have, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, we're going to close public hearing. Yes, come on up.
I'm the contractor that's converting the facility.
Your name and address, please?
Anthony Savarino, 125 Honeysuckle, Mandeville. And I just want to preference that the garbage pickup is that's very important. So we need guidance on that. Because everybody's got different opinions on about, we want to, whatever the city or the code enforcement says we got to do, that's what we're going to do. And there's one other thing, is the generator goes in the back. I think right next to the, we were back there that night.
Yeah, but
So whatever, from the exhaust, there was some talk about that, whatever rules or zoning, if I got to pipe it out to the street, or, we just need a little guidance.
yeah, code enforcement's going to have all of that. You're going to have state and local jurisdiction guidelines you're going to have to follow for that.
Right.
And that would be the same no matter if it's you being there or different, if it was a residential trying to put a generator in there. You'd follow the same guidelines.
Okay.
They should inform me of that.
You don't know
sorry?
yet.
You don't know what size generator?
48 kW.
Yeah.
So they might need like variances to.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to stay so far
Obviously,
off
we
the
don't wanna-
property line. I mean, they got them guidelines in place already. They're going to be so far off the property line, all of that stuff already. And if it's going to be a water cool unit, it's going to be quiet in a small one, actually. If you go to a 48, it's going to be a water cool unit.
And that goes for anything else that might, we just need guidance.
Okay.
And we'll hear about the ordinances.
So when you apply for your permit for that, you should get some guidance. I think.
I'm sorry, sir?
When you apply for your permit, you will need a permit, the installation of that generator. I think
Okay.
you'll get some guidance at that point in time.
Yeah, where to put it, how
Exactly.
far
Setback
away,
requirements,
all of,
how it's plumbed in.
Yeah, we want to be an asset to the neighbors and whatnot. So, we don't want to get no back and forth.
Got it.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, thank you. Okay, so we'll now close public hearing. We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Chatelain for proposed resolution 2024-15. We have a
Can I ask
second.
my question first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
That's
go ahead.
okay.
My bad.
This wasn't going to come up, but I'm asking now. Can't they get extra cans and pay a fee?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I was gonna recommend
So you
that.
can get more garbage cans if
They
you
won't be
need them.
picked up more often.
Well, they can pick, if they need, you don't want to dump stuff, because that stinks.
No, just get you some
Yeah,
extra
but
cans.
we talked about the extra cans with them, but we still only get 2 pickups. So
I
if you
know, but
got
they can
dirty
maybe get
diapers
four
and stuff,
cans,
you don't
6.
want them sitting there as long. So that's why we said they might have to hire an outside private
Yeah, maybe
contractor.
commercial.
And I'll be honest, and I think that's something we might play by ear and ask them, hey, guys, we're going to let you go with this here, and they could try 3 cans. And if there's a problem, we're going to come back and say, y'all need to get a private company that picks up every other day.
And will you just come to y'all?
Come to us, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, we would talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they want to do the right thing. I mean, it's a new business. You want people to come. I mean, good news spreads faster than bad.
Okay, any other
So
council
I just
discussion?
wanted to mention that, I know your school's been having facilities in Harahan for years and years. They're on Hickory. They used to be on the corner of Hickory and River Road. They had a house there, but they're not there anymore, and they have one in the 700 block of Hickory. They've been there for God knows how long. So we've never had any trouble with these facilities, and they have the one 1,000, 10,000 by the playground.
10,000, no.
And they've had no issues, and they have like 6 people in there. And they had a couple of problems with parking at one time, but they've gotten that under control. And I know you've agreed to take care of your parking problems. We don't want to have the neighbors have issues with parking. So I think it's going to work out. And I've talked to some of the neighbors around, and they don't seem to have a problem with it.
Now,
So.
I did speak to the neighbors in the 1,000 block of Colonial, and they had a lot of neighbors that were really opposed to that facility going there. And I went and spoke to the neighbors, and they actually said it's good. It's good neighbors, you know, and because I just wanted to get the feedback. So I did talk to a few of them neighbors, and they said they don't have problems, anything. So I just wanted to relay that on because, I mean, I was there supporting the neighbors. You know, when that situation came up, I mean, I don't know if that was 13 years ago, I voted against it, you know, and I was listening to the neighbors. So I went back to the same neighbors that were so opposed to it, and they said it's a good facility, they like it. One of the guys says his kids bring the dogs over there and goes and sees the elderly people and entertains, but I'm seeing it's not a bad deal.
Is that the one on Colonial?
Yes, sir.
speaking of? Yeah, I've been to the one on Colonial to look into their services. I drove down Colonial for 30 years and didn't know it was there. You know, it's just non-intrusive, and they're obviously doing a good job of taking care of things like odor or whatever else, because I didn't know it until 2 years ago when I was seeking that kind of service for a family member. So I suspect yours will be the same. And parking's always an issue that you need to resolve.
They have plenty of parking.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
No, you have to come to the podium.
Like you closed the one.
Did we close it?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's all right.
Hi, my name's Janet Wild, 337 Carolyn Drive in Harahan. As you know, parking is terrible on our street. I have a neighbor, lovely people, have like 5 cars, and they're constantly on, you know, everybody on there. I don't think anybody uses their driveways.
I think it's 80% of the city parks in the street.
I know, I realize that, but it's so congested up in that, right there in at a circle and at the beginning. It's horrible.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Just thought I'd say that.
Yeah,
Carolyn,
I know.
Carolyn Drive.
Make
Yeah,
a motion
that's
to
fine.
vote.
All right, so we have a motion to proceed with the vote by Councilman Chatelain. We have a second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, please note for the record.
Thank you, guys.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. You know, y'all are concerned citizens. You came here, you made yourself known and heard, and we appreciate that. So, thank you.
And I'd like to take a point of personal privilege, and I just want to, since I got a lot of people here from the Hickory area, there is talk, and I know that we've actually got some funding from the state to start doing a rehab of Hickory Avenue. I think they're going to start looking at the hydraulics of closing in all of the ditches from one end to the other, and they're certainly going to start resurfacing Hickory. I just got one brief note about it the other day, but I'm glad you're here so I can tell you. But it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be super inconvenient, but it is on the books. It is on the agenda now to start redoing Hickory. And the main problem with Hickory is the people who have already closed their ditches in improperly, all of that's got to come back out. And so we need that's going to be probably the most expensive part of the process. But it is on the agenda. And I know an engineer has been chosen. And because the parish is doing it and it is a parish highway, I'm not privileged to all the information as of yet. But as soon as I get something, if I got to, I'll hand walk out a flyer to every house as soon as we got some information. But the state has already allocated $250,000 to the city to start the process. And what we're going to do is we're going to unify our money with the parish to try to make the best product that we possibly can all the way through. So I just want to let you know that while you were here.
Down by Salve, down where y'all, they just redid that. I don't think that's where they're gonna start closing the ditches. I think they're coming down this way more where the ditches are small and they're gonna try to redig them. It's mostly for drainage facilities, to facilitate the drainage.
Mayor, are they going to start that project before Hickory runs through Jefferson Highway?
I think it's on the agenda now. So I know an engineer has been chosen, and I know money is allocated. So
Hickory?
Hickory, not Dickory, Hickory.
I talked to John Hill the other day. He said they're going to do from 9th Street to the river.
Right. From 9th Street to the river.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Hickory?
Yeah,
Yes,
9th
ma'am.
Street to the river.
Hickory.
Do we know anything about Dickory?
Yeah, do we know what, is it?
We don't know anything about Dickory. I mean, all I know.
I don't know anything
I
about
can tell you this, Dickory's been on the agenda for a long, long, long time. I know Councilman Johnson actually awarded the money, I believe,
I
to
gave them
finish that Dickory.
$16 million.
And,
They took it twice and did something else with it.
Probably so.
but it is there.
In the 80s, they took the money to complete it, and they took that money to Kenna and did Loyola.
It is there. Again, that conversation is being held about Dickory as well.
Guys.
Everything's moving.
Can we open up, address the council 1 second? This lady had
All right,
one
yeah,
more
just
thing
on
to say.
my point of privilege, we'll open up, address the council.
I'm sorry, but
That's
you
okay.
you brought up something.
Yes.
So one of the problems we're having down, of course, between Dock and Save is someone used to come and cut the grass in our ditches. They haven't done it this year. I called Harahan. They said call Jefferson Parish. I called Jefferson Parish. They said call Harahan. So since you brought this up, I'm just
Well, I can tell you
asking
Jefferson
now.
Parish is not going to do it again.
Okay.
They've already notified us that they're no longer going to cut any of the smaller ditches that are parish-owned have now verbally, and I haven't got it in writing, have now been turned over to the city.
Okay.
All of Generis along the whole entire canal is now also being cut by the city. I didn't know about the ditches
Yeah.
on Hickory, so we'll have to try to figure something out there.
Yeah.
But Jefferson Parish is just not going to do it anymore. They're slowly but surely turning everything that's inside of Harahan that belongs to them to the city.
Okay, okay,
And,
so,
so, yeah.
yeah.
So it-
Right now, it's not growing, the grass is not growing,
That's
but the
awesome.
problem is that when it starts growing, that interferes with the draining.
Yep.
So therefore, we run into flooding problems.
I mean, I know most people maintain their ditches, but if anyone needs help, we'll certainly get out there and, just let us know. That's what we're here
We'll
for.
look into it. Thank you.
May I recommend that we don't accept ditches?
It doesn't matter. They just said, hey, look, like
not-
Pedro's
they're not
ditch back
taking care
there.
of
They
it.
just said, hey, well,
Yeah,
we're not doing it anymore.
I just want to put on the record that we don't want to formally accept
Let's not
anything
accept anything.
from the parish.
But when they just say, I'm not going to maintain it.
No,
I'm-
that's different.
Yeah, that's
That's a
different,
different
yeah.
discussion.
And I would just like to say something on a personal note. I'm glad that everybody's here, and I've been listening all night long, with different things we've discussed over the afternoon. But, it's very important, because we're here to serve you guys. So if you have a concern, I would ask that you reach out either individually or come to City Hall and state your concern. And also, if you have a quarrel with somebody who's trying to do something brand new, I would also ask you, in particular on this event, that you maybe just walk around the neighbors and just ask, what can we do? And I think that those conversations need to start happening again. We've all in a bubble today, so we got a cell phone bubble and we don't come out of it. But, I would encourage everybody to reach out, state your concerns, do it nicely before it gets to be a mess. And if you don't have those issues resolved personally, that's what we're here for.
And my
So-
city hall's open, 8:30 to 4:30 every day. My guys are incredible. That's what we're here for. So,
Yep.
all right. No, ma'am, hold on. No, ma'am. All right, Madam Clerk.
Okay.
Proposed orders number 2024-19.
Proposed ordinance number 2024-19. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman
I'll second it.
Ricks. An ordinance to place high-visibility traffic signs and signals at and near the intersections on 9th Street, Robert Street, and Hickory Avenue.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Ricks on proposed notice number 2024-19. Will now open for public hearing. Now, if you come up to speak for public hearing when we have a proposed ordinance on the floor, you have to speak about the proposed ordinance. All right, no one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
Council, this is a ordinance that was proposed after another ordinance that had failed for stop signs at the full intersection. This is just a high-traffic intersection, kind of a dangerous intersection sometimes when people aren't paying attention. So this just makes it a more visible intersection by placing flashing stop signs on 9th Street facing Oak, and an overhead caution light both ways on Hickory, and some no parking to make sure that, no parking in front of Ms. Laura's business to make sure that people aren't blocking visibility for vehicles coming out and seeing. So that's basically what it is. I'll take questions.
My only question is that I'm fine with what's proposed here. Seems to me we've had a greater issue with accidents at 9th and Dickory. No, not,
Yeah, so the DOTD did do some work over there that I think. Councilman
I
Griggs
I had
kinda spearheaded
DOTD
that.
come out and put some high visibility signs, narrow the thing to one lane, paint it with the high visibility paint. So I don't think we've had a major incident, Chief, since,
At Dickory.
is that correct?
We've had several accidents at Dickory, I mean, at
Hickory.
Hickory and Ninth, crossing over.
So have you had any more accidents at Dickory? I mean, last time I was out there, Shirley,
Last one we had was a school bus.
And that's been a while.
That's been a
Okay.
And that
while.
was
That was
before,
before.
that was actually before it was,
But-
What prompted
yeah,
Yeah.
that is.
Okay, I have a
That
question,
being-
guys. So who owns Hickory right there? Is that the state, the parish, the city?
From Ninth to the river is the state, from Ninth to the railroad tracks is the parish.
Okay,
So that's
this
the
is
dividing
at
point.
the intersection of Ninth.
We do.
So my deal is,
We own
I'm
Ninth
not
Street.
against this lighting to help. I mean, I think people need to stop at the stop sign, pay attention, look. I mean, I drive this intersection numerous times a day.
Me too. Every
I've
day.
never been close to getting in an
Every day.
accident.
Oh, I did.
I'm asking people, I'm younger than you, I got good eyes. I'm asking people to pay
When somebody
attention.
pulls out, you can't do nothing.
I'm asking people to pay attention and all, because I don't have a problem with this. I'm just trying to figure where the funding's gonna come from to do this, because this isn't gonna be cheap.
Do we have a cost, an analysis of what it would cost?
We do not have a cost. I was, I think we have funds in capital. I was more concerned with, this doesn't change any of the traffic engineering of the intersection. There's already stop signs there.
Correct.
Just makes them more visible.
And
You should already be cautious when you're crossing this busy intersection. This just makes it more visible.
And Eric, I think that, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I think there are, being in the sign business, that I think there's some cheaper alternatives out there now with the LEDs and the pocket lighting, so.
Right, I just think if we're gonna try to do this, something similar to what we have on Jefferson Highway right here, with the poles and the lights going across the highway and all, I think we would need to get some state approval, state and parish approval right there. I'm all in favor of it. I think that gets to be very expensive, and expense isn't really an issue when it comes to, someone's health and safety, but I just need to figure out how we do it and make sure we do it right.
Yeah.
So
So you want to make it condition upon whoever's approval?
parish and state approval and
Well, and a
possibly
budget.
some
You know, we've
funding.
got a budget
I mean, I
for
don't
it.
mind us putting up some money, but if this is state and parish intersection,
Well,
and I know it's our citizens, but let's see if we can push to get them to do some of the funding.
I can reach back out to DOTD
Yeah.
and ask them if they can provide that for us. They were nice enough to provide the other stuff for us.
I mean, and the parish is already, parish and the state are already working together on the Hickory do so. Parish has been incredible to us. We can also, I'll reach back out to the parish. Mike will take the state, and we'll try to get all three of us involved in it.
See, I thought we were just talking about a standard stop sign pole with a blinking stop sign.
Yeah, we can do that tomorrow, but I think we're looking for.
I didn't realize we were talking about,
Well, I mean, you're talking about putting a wire over with the caution light like they've got here in the turn.
I've seen other parishes do that with, I'm sorry.
They do it with standard poles.
Yeah, you can put on a pole too.
Yeah,
You just put
it on
one
a
on
pole,
the-
it runs off
One on
the
the
sun, it's a
right-hand
little
side,
battery.
one on the
Yeah, one of
left-hand
those.
side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with this. I think we need to just get a little bit of assistance from someone to help steer us, make sure we do it right.
So
This
I
isn't
would like
our
if we
specialty.
could put something in here subject, of course, to, state and parish approval and budget approval.
Well, with parish, you won't need parish approval if the Department of Transportation takes it.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about for this, for this.
I'm just saying that you won't need.
Right.
You won't need parish approval with the state agency.
Well, let me say something. I think we need to find out what's going to happen on Dickory, too. I'm not against more visibility, but we got to find out what's going to happen with Dickory, because once they open Dickory up, that's going to be a stop sign right there at 9th and Dickory, because the traffic is going to be flowing. Right now, you go through, and the Dickory traffic has to stop.
Well, I
Once
think-
that's open, that's going to be a stop sign.
Yeah.
And you put another stop sign on Hickory and 9th to make that turn, you're going to be backing up traffic.
I think you're going to see.
Because you're going to have people stopping to cross to get onto. And unless they close that U-turn there, that crossover, and make you go to the right, south, and make the U-turn and come back.
I think you'll
That
see
Amazon
more of
building,
those
we need to
streets.
find out where the entrance is going to be, because from what I'm told, the entrance is going to be on Dickory. And the only way to get to that right now is to come all the way down, make the U-turn, and come back up to the entrance, if that's where that entrance is going to be. We're going to have traffic backing up big time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, are we opening streets to New Dickory as it proceeds down to Jefferson Highway?
The original plan was that we're going to open up the even streets, but that's probably changed.
Because I was told, too, that they were going to try to turn Robert back into a two-way street.
They may not even, Roberts may close.
Right.
We opened our Roberts up years ago, and we opened it, it was a two-way, then we made a one-way because
Right.
there was too many accidents.
Right.
But that was a temporary, supposed to be a temporary street. They may close that when they open up Dickory. So at the time when they told us years ago, it was supposed to open up to 8th, 6th, 4th, and 2nd, but that's changed. So I don't know what they're going to do now.
Well, that's why we need to get some more information from the parish and the state on what they're
Yeah.
going to do with that roadway.
We
Because
gotta
that
see the new
Amazon
plan.
building's going to,
The
that's
new
going
plan.
to have
Let
a
me
lot
ask you
of
this, Councilman.
traffic.
So this is what I'm in understanding of, that all of those side streets are now Harahan's, or all
They are,
Harahan's.
yeah.
So we're going to control that, they're not.
Okay.
It's going to be our choice what we
You
open
can't
and
control
close.
the state, Tim.
No, but just the
Mayor.
side streets.
I know that's
Well, I
ours, but they're
understand
going to
that,
tell
but-
you what they're going to take.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well,
But once
we're down
Dickory's
streets.
open, that's going to be a stop sign there. You're not going to be able to just keep going across. You're going to have to stop, and that's going to back up
Yeah.
on
We certainly have
9th
to
Street and then
reconfigure
on the Hickory.
But in the
Yeah, but
same
that's 2
note,
years away.
I think it's
Yeah.
not going to back up.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
as
you're right.
much.
you're going to spend all
You're
this
right.
money on the
It-
signs and stuff. We
it
need to make sure
might
we're
not-
not wasting money.
Chief, it might not back up as much because you have more cars going down Dickory from the
Well,
other
that's-
spot.
that's the plan.
I don't know, I'm not a traffic
know.
engineer, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't mind doing something to facilitate this corner, but I'm not looking to dump $200,000
Oh.
to do what we need to do there.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I was thinking we
I
were
don't think
talking
that was
5
the
or 10.
course of, I think the course was probably $2,000.
I'm just saying, I mean, if you want to start putting poles and cables and lights and flashes, I mean,
I
it's
don't
going to add
think-
up.
Like I said, I think there's an alternative solution
So
that's reasonable.
I'm going to make a motion to amend the ordinance to add at the beginning of section 3 that the ordinance is subject to approval. The ordinance is subject to approval of the parish of Jefferson and the state of Louisiana. And period.
How about,
Period.
And funding.
No, because I'm sorry, yeah, I'm going to make a different amendment
Okay.
for that.
all
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to amend proposed orders number 2024-19, adding at line 3, as he stated. We're now open for public hearing about the motion. No one coming forward.
Section
We'll-
3.
I'm in section 3. We'll close public hearing. I have a second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor to amend proposed ordinance number 2024-19?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, please note the amendment.
Also move to amend at the end of section 2 to add the sentence, "The costs of this ordinance shall not exceed $50,000."
Oh,
That's too much.
that's way too much.
Okay. Okay, the cost of this ordinance shall not exceed $10,000.
That's all right, 10.
The cost of implementation of this ordinance shall not exceed $10,000
Of Harahan money.
of
Because the
capital
state and
funds. And we'll
DOTD
amend the-
might come in and want to
amend
do
the
something
budget, right?
different, and they might fund some of
That's
it.
right.
So if we preliminarily fund it here in this ordinance, we've got the budget ordinance coming up at some point, we can add it to the capital projects in that big budget ordinance.
So, Councilman Asbill, I think to clarify that funding may come from other sources exceeding 10,000.
Yeah.
If you modified the sentence to say the cost to the city
The
of
cost to the city of
Harahan
Harahan shall not exceed
exceed.
$10,000.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill. We'll now open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on a motion? We'll now close public hearing to the cost not exceeding Harahan dollars of $10,000. We have a second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor of the amendment?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Move to approve as amended.
Okay, so now we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Rick, to approve proposed ordinance number 2024-19. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk?
Proposed ordinance number 2024-20. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman
I'll second it.
Ricks. An ordinance amending the Harahan Municipal Code, Chapter 46, relative to community homes licensing procedures.
Okay, so we have proposed ordinance number 2024-20. We'll now open for public hearing. All right, no one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, we need to explain to people what we're amending. You know, what do we amend? We're taking out C2, that's the amendment?
So the amendment right now, the ordinance reads that community homes can only be placed in C2 districts. You know any C2 districts?
Yeah, on Hickory.
Oh, Hickory.
So that's too restrictive according to the state. The state statute says that it has to be allowed in residential districts. Everywhere else in our area, Kenner, Westwego, Jefferson Parish, Gretna, they allow it in R4. That's the first one. We don't have R4. R4 is fourplexes and whatnot. We don't have that. So the lowest residential zone we have is R2, so that's where we're going to allow it. So it shall be permitted by right in districts R2, GOM, H1, and all commercial districts. And then it adds the words, community homes may be permitted for conditional use in other districts within the city, like R1, where Wilson Street is, by recommendation of the regulatory director, consideration of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and approval of the city council. So a community home, like a assisted living home or a development disabled type house, can be in any R2, GOM, H1, or commercial district by right. They come in, they submit their permit, they get it. That's fine. That's what it has to be according to state law. However, we're also going to allow it in R1 conditionally based on council approval, planning and zoning consideration, and recommendation by the regulatory director.
And I would also ask that the citizens have some say.
Right, so all that
That'd be at
includes
the
public
Planning and
hearings,
Zoning.
right? So Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council meeting is public
So
hearing for citizens.
I just want everybody to understand that you will have a say in the
Yeah.
community for
And so
what
by the-
happens in your neighborhood.
So by the nature of it going to Planning and Zoning Committee, if you live within a certain distance, you'll get notifications. All of that's in the Planning and Zoning procedure. And so it won't just spring up one day on you, or it shouldn't just spring up one day on you. You should get notice.
Now, question, you're taking out C2. We have
We're
C2,
going to allow it in any commercial district.
any?
Commercial district.
Okay, because I see a line through C2, so.
Yeah, it's just because we're substituting it.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. That was a great question.
And guys, just so y'all realize, the federal government came in, what was it, 13 years ago?
Where the school's at.
And our hands are kind of tied. So us putting these ordinances in place, that gives us a little bit more guidelines and restriction to put on people.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, I mean, the Department of Justice comes in and you really don't have no say-so on the situation here.
So we try to do best to work with it instead of fight it, because you ain't gonna fight it, you can't win.
And we dealt with this, like I said, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just the first step in a multi-step process to first allow these types of community homes, to make them available, but also going into to regulating them as well, so that they don't get out of hand and things like that.
Councilman Asbill, you
Yes, sir.
envision some ordinances to have specific requirements?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so this
you would.
ordinance here, it only shows what's being amended and added. There are specific requirements in this ordinance already. I envision adding to those
I
some different
understand.
parameters.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so,
I think the first time when the people came for the group home on Colonial, I think Benny was mayor at the time.
Yes, sir.
And there was a little resistance from the council at the time, and the people brought the government in, and the government addressed the council right there, because I was here. I was on Jefferson Parish Council at the time.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
And the government came and addressed the council and basically told the mayor and the council, they're going to get the group home because you cannot fight them. The federal government, that group, you cannot, we can't beat the federal government, so.
Well, I would disagree with
The
that,
group ones on
but-
Colonial.
So I was on the
Federal
council.
government needs to go stay in D.C.
I was on the council at the time, and I got a phone call from somebody, and they said, yeah, you need to talk. I said, well, I really don't have a comment. They're like, no, this ain't the news. This is the federal government. They came in, sat down with us. I'm like, okay, it's a little bit different. So I just figured it was a news report. I'm like, no comment? They're like, no, this ain't a no comment answer.
It was discrimination. Okay.
Next.
All right, thank you, Councilman Johnson, for the questions. Thank you, Councilman Asbill, for the explanation.
Quick,
That's a big move forward for Harahan, guys.
quick point of order. I just realized the blue line is not what was originally submitted, so I need to suggest those amendments, right? Okay. So what you see in your packet as a blue line is not in my original submission. Those are added since my original submission. So I would move to amend the ordinance as redlined in the document. Can y'all see the red lines? Or
Yeah.
blue lines?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
wasn't red, but it printed.
Yeah, okay. Move to amend as printed.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to amend proposed ordinance number 2024-20, amendments as proposed in the document. We have a second by Councilman Chatelain. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll close public
Wait,
hearing.
one
We'll go to
second.
council
There's
discussion.
not much there. Can we just maybe read
Read
that?
it?
I'll be happy to read it.
Oh, sure. It adds the words "consideration by the Planning and Zoning Commission," and adds a new subsection, applicant shall abide by all other, in addition to our laws, they shall abide by all other applicable state and federal guidelines existing at the time of the business operations. So even if guidelines change once they're open, they got to follow the new guidelines.
And one other question there, existing at the time of operation, and I'm probably getting stuck on this existing, I like to think of that as when you open a business. So it would be during the time of operation, right? Or is it the same in your mind?
I think it's the same, it's the
There you
same in
go,
my mind,
good.
yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to amend as stated, second by Councilman Ricks. All in favor on the amendment?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Move to approve as amended.
Now, we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to approve, second by Councilman Ricks on the proposed ordinance 2024-20 as amended. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk?
It's broken. It's got its own mind. Ordinances for introduction. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Johnston, proposed ordinance number 2024-21, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1990, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024 for the capital project fund of the City of Harahan, Louisiana for senior center repairs. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Johnston, proposed ordinance number 2024-22, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1990, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024 for the ARPA fund of the City of Harahan, Louisiana for a Park of Heroes match. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain, proposed ordinance number 2024-23, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1990, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024 for the capital project fund of the City of Harahan, Louisiana for an ADA-compliant bathroom at the Recreation Department. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain, proposed ordinance number 2024-24, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1990, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024 for the City of Harahan, Louisiana. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain, proposed ordinance number 2024-25, an ordinance adopting the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025 for the City of Harahan, Louisiana. Old business number 1, Planning and Zoning Board appointment.
So as we stated earlier, we're certainly looking for planning and zoning appointments.
Anyone want to raise their hand now? It'd be a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah, anyone who would love to be on planning and zoning, we'd love to have you. But for now, ma'am.
Wait, we got one.
We got one? Oh, come on.
Could you come up and tell us who you are?
Tell us who you are, put a resume.
We don't
Need
need
help
resume.
with it, let me know.
But my name is Krista Exterstein. I've lived in Harahan since literally a month before Katrina. We moved
Can you
here.
just talk, Dan, state your name and address, please?
My name is Krista Exterstein. I live at 8236 Harris Avenue. I've lived in Harahan since 2005. I bought my home in 2021, so I think it'd be cool to be a part of the board. I'll volunteer if that's what
Yes.
y'all need.
Background experience.
I run 2 businesses, so
Hey, that's
I have some experience. My mom's really big into real estate and has bought plenty of properties, and me and my fiance are into real estate, and thank you. I didn't know what the requirements are to be on the board, but I'll apply.
We do have training.
Perfect.
You
I'll
know.
take it.
Would appreciate it.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
so much.
So if we got all you people out here from Hickory to have someone on the planning and zoning board, then it was all good. Come on up.
That's my girl.
Maybe we need to get some more controversial topics out there to see.
Yeah, we need some more people in here. Let's go.
So you can sit.
So my name is Darlene Manson. I live at 105 Oakland Avenue. I actually did serve on the Planning and Zoning Board years ago, around the colonial time. I have a master's degree in urban planning. I recently retired from the school system as the executive director of planning.
Wow, awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. We
Love to have
appreciate
Thank you,
you.
Darlene, for the last
Thank
few
you.
years
Thank
to
you.
come back.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, I gave them both my cards. They'll reach out and contact me, and we'll get them set up to be nominated and put on the board.
Yeah, I
Thank you
would,
guys very much.
And Mayor,
Would it be appropriate to go ahead and nominate and defer the vote until we get their information?
It's
Yeah,
fun with you,
because-
yes.
and also, I think we'll have to possibly remove somebody. There are 8 people listed, and 4 didn't make the last meeting. We may have to go through the process of removing a board member.
I do think Lane is supposed to resign because he's serving as our prosecutor.
Yeah, Lane
sorry.
did move to resign.
But he never submitted a
Okay,
resignation.
so we'll clean them up.
Lane?
Yeah, Lane Macaluso is now
Yeah,
the city
yeah.
prosecutor.
I'd like to nominate Darlene Manson to the board.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to nominate Ms. Darlene.
I'm Paul.
I'm-
I'm Paul Johnson.
I don't know why, because he started talking to me. We have a motion by Councilman Johnson to nominate Ms. Darlene to the Planning and Zoning Board.
Move to nominate Ms. Krista Exerstein or Steen? Exerstein.
And we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to nominate Ms. Chris to the board.
This is like a milestone.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
I move, we're going to defer the vote to the next meeting till we make sure we get all the information.
Oh, okay.
Make sure they actually live where they say they live.
Oh, I know. I know.
So
Do a little
they are
background.
now added to the agenda, and they're on the board.
Move to defer.
Okay, we'll move to defer the vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor on moving to defer the vote?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Beautiful. New business number 1. Todd Turnion, Finance Director, monthly financials.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The update from the finance team, we're actually working on closing out the year end. So we've got some time, but preparing to close out the books for the year end close at December 31st. We sent the first draft of the proposed budget to the council for any feedback and review, and we're available over the next few weeks to meet and answer any additional questions that the council members may have. I think the mayor provided the FEMA update at the beginning of this meeting, and so I'm happy to answer any other questions that the council members may have.
If I understand correctly regarding FEMA, we've settled all claims except 2?
The 2 big ones.
So
We settled claims, but we're still waiting on funding.
Yeah, that's
Right,
right. That's right.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's certainty.
They've
We
been
think.
obligated by,
obligated.
We think.
which basically means FEMA has approved and authorized X dollars for this project.
Well, we don't have a history where they come back and change that after this.
No,
No.
no,
So-
but the timing of when we receive
Right.
the cash is still uncertain.
Yeah, well, if it's like Katrina, they've got another 12, 14 years to get it to us. So the magnitude of dollars outstanding, I know the fire station is a much larger, the largest claim. What's the magnitude of dollars are we talking about?
On the,
On the fire station,
Total
where are we?
project cost.
Our quote
I
claim.
don't know. I can get that
I
information.
want to think it was somewhere right under 10 million, somewhere.
Yeah, I
right-
wanna say like
yeah.
8 million.
Yeah, about 8 million and some change.
Yeah.
Firehouse.
And then the gym, I think, was somewhere around $1 million. No quote me on that, but I think
Yeah.
I'm pretty close.
Okay, well, thanks.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you.
Have we got any money for the senior center or for the city hall yet?
From IDA, yeah, all of that money has been taken, but we had to
So we
use-
got the money for the roof here? And
Yes, sir. No, yes, sir. And whatever FEMA didn't give us for the roof, the insurance did pick up. So it cost us nothing, and I think we have a much better roof, and it's brand new. So yes, sir.
Here?
Yes, sir.
And the senior center too?
Senior center, yes, I do believe we got that funding as well.
A fortified roof, didn't we?
What's that?
We got a fortified roof here.
Here we do. Yeah, here we actually changed the roof type here and put a fortified roof on it. And then we also we're working on getting a little bit of funding from FEMA. What we did was, the number one complaint from FEMA from the storm was we had no record of what buildings look like inside and out pre-storm. And so we worked with the parish and a local group, and we actually came in and we filmed the inside of every city building and drone filmed the outside of every city building, just so now we have on record, and it's actually incorporated into our GIS system that Councilman Bonanno gave us $20,000 to get, so we have all of the overlays inside of that. So now, I want to build a city that, hopefully that the next mayor, if he gets what I've gotten, the 6 hurricanes and COVID, that he can kind of really work behind. But with new technology, that gives us the opportunity to build those kind of things. And so that's what we've been trying to do, incorporate as much of the newest technology, and it's easily transferable. Same thing with sewer. Every sewer repair we do now is filmed and cataloged into a Dropbox. So say if the next mayor comes behind and he wants to know what happened between manhole 61 and manhole 60, any work's ever been done there, he can actually go right into the Dropbox because every manhole is now numbered in the city as well. Just trying to build that technology. It's there, so let's use it. And, because eventually it might cost something now, but it'll create a whole lot of efficiency in the backside and speed. So, absolutely. Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk.
Okay, new business number 2, call for a budget hearing. I believe the date we are looking at is December 9th at 6:30.
December 9th at
6:30.
Let me see. Okay.
It better be okay, right?
I move to approve budget hearing on Monday, December 9th at 6:30 PM at City Hall.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to approve Monday, December 9th at 6:30. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. We have a second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
I will say this, I will be at the budget meeting, but I'm flying back from New York that day, so unless I get delayed.
Okay, perfect.
No, Vice Spirit.
I'm sorry, Mike, what was that?
I'm flying back from New York that day, so unless my plane gets delayed.
All right, Madam Clerk, new business number 3.
Okay, new business number 3, high and low content ABO application for Oak Oven LLC located at 6625 Jefferson Highway for Thomas Macaluso and Aaron Johnson.
Okay, Chief. We did all of the background on these ABOs.
The assistant chief was working on this. I'm trying to get confirmation. It said that it's pending results from the state record check, but we've completed all of our background checks, and it's passed for the city, for the checks that we do.
So we have a motion by Councilman Chatelain to ratify the new business number 3 ABO pending state results.
Well,
Pending state results.
Yep.
let's have some council discussion first.
Okay. Let me open, you want me to open for public hearing real fast?
Okay.
Okay, we'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing, and we'll go to Mr. Buddy, council discussion.
Yeah, I'm really concerned. This is across the street from school. So it just gives me a lot of pause. I like to help businesses, but you can be serving hard alcohol across the street from a school. And we know how busy that intersection is.
Yeah, our ordinance allows it because it's a bona fide restaurant.
Then there isn't anything to complain about.
I have a problem with the high content. I have no problem with low beer and wine, but selling hard liquor across the street from a school, I have a problem with that. I would be in favor of going low content, wine and beer.
I think they already have a low content. I think they're looking to move to the
Yeah.
high.
Well, they
content.
do have a low?
I believe
Yeah,
so, yes.
they do.
Did we check, did we, because this same discussion came up,
Yeah.
Happy Italian.
He has high.
High contact.
But I didn't, I
He's
wouldn't.
across the street
I
from the
wouldn't
school.
hear.
So what I'm saying is we can't be divisive on the
Yeah.
fact that we've given one and not going to allow the other one.
I'm just saying my personal opinion,
I
Councilman.
understand.
My thought is-
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, but I can't vote for high content right across the street from my school.
Guys, it's a restaurant. It's not a bar.
It's
Sure.
right by school.
I understand it's by the school. Most of the times, people are going to go there and have a couple drinks. Hopefully, they have a designated driver when they're doing it. Most of the times, people aren't going to go there for lunch and drink. Same thing, even if they are there for lunch, hopefully they have a designated driver.
If not, they'll get
I'm going to be in support of it.
Right?
That's correct.
Councilman Asbill, you're a whiz with pulling up our ordinances. You say it's already allowed?
Yes, sir.
Can you double, triple check? Because, I mean, if it's allowed, it's allowed.
We already-
No debate.
We already did that, but
Yeah, you want me to? Yeah.
It's allowed with the vote of the council.
Right, yeah.
And what I'm saying is that, you know, the previous councils and previous administrations have allowed this on several facilities down the highway. You cannot give one the permission and not the other in the same instance, the same area. I don't see where
If
that's.
you have a place that sells 60% food and more food than liquor, a restaurant is considered a restaurant.
Yep.
But I have a problem with giving somebody high content right across the street from a school. That's my personal belief. So I'm gonna vote no. So,
Well, I understand, but you also have a bar and a bowling alley.
yeah,
you know,
but
same
that's not
thing.
next door to the school. And let me tell you, when they gave the bowling alley their liquor, they had to jump through hoops to get their liquor license. They made them put a door in the middle of the bowling alley for the bar. They made them jump through hoops to get that license.
I understand, but what I'm saying is,
I understand, Mike.
cordially, you know, if you
Well,
want,
I
if you
don't
want
disagree with
business
you.
to come to Harahan.
I don't disagree with you.
You need
I'm
to
not
be
disagreeing.
fair.
It's my personal belief. I don't
understand.
disagree with you.
I understand, but
Okay, you want to move for the vote, or you?
Well,
I
wait,
do. I do want to move for the vote.
I'd like, if Councilman Asbill can confirm what he believes to be true, and I'd bet on it if we were betting money, because it'll affect my vote also.
So much pressure. Oh, that's what, it was.
I'm going to nominate you.
You know, if you wouldn't have asked me to pull it out.
Right, it'd be right at your fingertips.
Right.
But we looked at this before, did we not?
We did, several times, yeah.
Yeah. We've looked at this several times before, and he is correct.
Guys, can I make a motion that we move to number 4 while Councilman Asbill looks this up?
I'm fine with that if he's fine with it.
Okay. I will make a motion to amend agenda and move to do business number 4, a second by Councilman Buddy. We'll open for public hearing. Someone close, you got it?
No.
Okay, we'll now hear number 4, Madam Clerk.
New business number 4, Faith Lutheran Schools Chili Cook-Off Committee respectfully requests permission to sell beer at our 2025 Chili Cook-Off. This event will be held on Saturday, January 18th, 2025, from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. in our activity center/gym. All proceeds will be used for improvements made to our buildings and property. We would also like you and the Harahan council members to consider attending and being judges at our event. Sincerely, Judy Cantrell.
Okay, we'll open public hearing. Anyone to speak on new business number 4, chili cook-off? No one
It's just a
coming
little
forth. We'll now-
ironic that we're going to
And now
consider a
we'll
beer
close public
permit
hearing.
at the school.
Beer and wine, I have no problem with.
Okay, council discussion? Oh, come on. I didn't see you back there.
Thank you,
sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
council. I know I'm here to speak about the chili cook-off. If you wouldn't mind just saying a few words about Faith.
Yeah. No, go ahead. You're more than welcome.
We're in the middle of a residential area, so a lot of people don't know we're there. Thank you. I'll be brief. The congregation was started in 1954 when this area, I believe, was like a pasture, I've been told. We've had 3 pastors, average tenure is 23 years, so it's good people. This year, we're celebrating our 70th anniversary of the congregation and 67th year as a school. Our primary focus, of course, is the gospel and services, but we also participate in collecting food for Second Harvest, and we are in the process of also another year of Toys for Tots, so we will be a drop-off place for that if you're interested. 4 years after the church was founded, we opened a Lutheran day school, 1958. Started with 1 grade, just added a grade each time. And we are presently up to 8th grade. And again, I said we're celebrating our 67th year. We are part of a church body that operates the 2nd largest parochial school system in the United States. Our graduates have gone to Lutheran High School, Cabrini, where both my daughters went, John Curtis, Rummel, Chappelle, Dominican, Brother Martin, Mount Carmel, various public high schools, and many more. I've been told many times that we're the best kept secret in Harahan. We'd like to not be that. With our small classes and family atmosphere, it is my belief that our traditional school could be the place for many more students whose parents are looking for what we offer, an education centered in Christ, whose mission is to share the gospel and to assist parents in the education of their children by providing a Christ-centered learning environment which emphasizes academic excellence, personal Christian growth, and service to God and community. We are non-discriminatory on the basis of race, color, national, and ethnic origin. Again, we're hosting a chili cook-off, and we'd appreciate your support for being able to sell beer at this event. Helps us raise money, it brings more people out, and the proceeds will be for our school. I've got some flyers about that and also some brochures for our school. I'd like to hand those out if possible. Sure. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And just a couple more things. I believe there's going to be music and lots of fun. I know there'll be lots of fun. If you'd like more information on it, go to our Facebook and Instagram pages. Again, I want to thank you for the chance to speak in front of you tonight, share our story, let you know of the things which are happening in our church and school. And one last thing, I want you to know that we pray for you each weekend in our divine services, known as masses around here. We pray for our president, our Congress, our governor, and all of you. And we appreciate what you do, and we totally respect you, and want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas. Does anybody have any questions?
Father, if you have any, I mean, we're very open, at this council chambers. If you have anything going on, man, please come out, come talk to us about it, come tell the community about it. We'd love to have you.
Okay.
Love it. We're open arms.
I appreciate that.
We're more than welcome. We love it. More than welcome.
I'm acting principal also right now, so kind of got a lot of stuff going on, but we thank you for the invitation.
Every third Thursday of the month is
Every
when we
third
have-
Thursday.
Every third Thursday.
Very good.
Father, did you see, I know y'all have a fundraiser trying to raise some money for some light fixtures for the Jeep?
Yes.
I actually, I stopped by there today and I offered to volunteer. If y'all bought the lights, I'd install them for free. I don't know, the lady needs to check. She says y'all might already signed a deal with someone. If y'all could get out of that deal and just get the lights from them, I'm willing to have my guys come over there and install the 12 lights for no charge.
I will check into it.
But also, you could mention to these guys, I don't know if you have the information or you know what it is, that fundraiser, whatever it is. It was a pizza order or something, I don't know what it was.
I thought my secretary was going to be here. She's the one to ask.
That's
So
right. If
Judy-
not, I'll look it up and I'll get
Harahan Economic.
Harahan Economics to share it on our page with the
Okay.
city as well.
Okay, thank you very
But
much.
if you could check into that and let me know, but I mean, I'm willing to take care of that for y'all.
Okay, very good.
We do have an Harahan Economic page where we promote things throughout the community through social media. So if you have anything like that, I mean, please, let me give you my card just in case.
Okay, thank you,
Feel-
Mayor.
reach out to us and we'll get it posted and put out on social media. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
I'll be the damper. I know that my secretary spoke with someone over there. You will have a detail there. We've been told there's going to be less than 100 people. If there's going to be more, then we're going to have 2 officers there.
Okay.
So
Whatever is needed, that's what we'll do.
we were told there would be less than 100 people. If it's over 100 people, we're going to have 2 officers there.
Okay.
That's per the ordinance.
It's our first time doing this, so, but if we even think we're going to have over 100, we'll make sure there's 2.
Well, I need to know so I
You
can
need to know.
schedule an officer
Okay.
to be there.
Yes, sir.
Right now, we have 1 scheduled
Okay.
to be there.
All right.
But if it exceeds that 100, we need to know that ahead of time.
Very good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to approve new business number 4. We have a second by Councilman Chatterley. All in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, new business number
Can we
5.
go back to number 3?
Yeah, we read.
We're going to
Are
go
we
back
ready?
to
I'm
new
sorry.
business number 3 with the ABO.
Got an assist. Thanks for the assist, Mr. City Attorney. It's section 6-73 regarding location restrictions. No permit shall be granted, section B. No permit shall be granted under this article for any premises situated within 300 feet or less of a building occupied by a church, synagogue, public library, public playground, school, except, says some things, a standard restaurant as defined by comprehensive zoning law, and that goes on to define that it's, 60, 75% of their revenue is from the food, and it's not mainly an alcohol establishment.
Yeah, it's the same thing we read before.
Right.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, so.
I would move to approve,
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill
subject to the state approval.
Yeah, we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to approve, subject to pending state results and status. We have a second by Councilman Chatterley. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
All opposed?
Paul is
All
no.
opposed?
Paul is no.
Right. So 4 yeas, 1 nay. Madam
Yes,
Clerk,
sir.
please note for the record.
Okay, new business number 5. Gary Attardo has contacted City Hall because he is having issues with his water meter being run over. It has happened twice now, which is causing water to leak onto the street and sidewalk. He is located at 6499 Jefferson Highway. Since the water meter is located on the city side and council permission is required, he is requesting permission to install a barrier of some sort, possibly bollards, to block and protect the water meter from large trucks and traffic.
Okay, so this is one I came to you guys on because I'm honestly not quite sure how to handle this.
You can't do it. You can't,
I know.
you can't have a bollard
I know. So
on a city
we
property.
just trying to figure it out, and I was hoping that you guys had some sort of reflection or answer.
You
All
gonna
right, we'll open for public hearing. Yes, sir.
Sure. So I'm the property owner at 6499 Jefferson Highway, and my name is Rich Attardo, and my dad is Gary Attardo. He's developing the property, alongside me and everything. So essentially, we've had some modernization issues, right? The property's been neglected for decades, and now we're dealing with the issue of trying to have some running water, and trucks are hitting it, turning off the highway, even though it says no truck route. I think the sign may be, I'd say insufficient. There's like a better spot for maybe a couple 100 feet, and there's actually like a pole ready to roll. You just need a sign, put there, which would help with that. But I'd say long story short is that these big trucks are making this illegal turn, and they're running right over the water meter. Our business is also based off of water too. Like we do automotive detailing, vehicle wraps, window tint, etc. So to be out of water when we're actually in commerce is going to be a huge hit to our company. So we've contacted the water department, which is very slow.
We know.
Obviously, yeah. So, we're trying to find some happy medium mix. We're not looking to have some, obnoxious structure, if you will, but we need something that's going to protect like our actual investment too as a property, because Sherwin-Williams has been hit twice in the last 2 years. And I've attended the windows that have been replaced and broken from those vehicles hitting it. So it's one from like a vehicle safety standpoint, and also to protect the water meter from, being busted for really a fourth time, but we only listed 2 because we've only owned the property for 2 of those times.
So I'm going to have a little suggestion, and I'm not a favor of putting any barriers, anything like that would stick up out the ground. I'm just making a suggestion. You'd have to check with some contracts and stuff to see how you'd move forward with it. I'm not against you concrete in that area to where your water meter would be set, under the concrete with the box above it, and maybe some red dye or something in the concrete just to alert it. The problem is, we got to do everything we can to stop trucks from turning there. Like you said, we could look at the signs, get DOTD to look at the signs and all of that stuff. But I think if you have the concrete with the box set above it and the box steps down, if you use a good 5,000-pound concrete mix, it might not crack, it might not sink that box. That's just a suggestion, but.
So who pays for that? Me?
That
Or
would be
y'all?
on the homeowner, that would be on the property owner.
Even though it's on city property and you're suggesting me to do something more expensive, that's really, a bit out there, because there are cheaper solutions, that, are a bit easier to do, because, that's easy, like I'd say $10,000 fix,
So what I'm saying is a $10,000 fix?
I would assume.
Oh, no, I'm not assuming it's anywhere near that.
Okay,
So, you've had no luck, is moving the water meter an option?
So, that's something we presented to Jefferson Parish, but essentially it's the whole loop of call Harahan, call Jefferson Parish, back and forth.
No, we have nothing to do with that.
But it's also.
But I can help you. I can try.
I'd really appreciate it. I've also heard that it's like a hazard for pedestrians, like on the sidewalk, if the meter was moved. To essentially, it's right in the grass. So if they literally moved it like 5 foot over, it would still be on the sidewalk technically. I don't see how it'd be an issue if you have eyes and you're walking.
Yeah, me neither.
I never noticed the water meter was there. I noticed the ruts in the water all the time,
That's
but I never noticed it was from the water meter. Now that you bring it to my attention, I realize that's why there's always a hole.
It happened like the day later, like after we waited, 2 months, on the waiting list, right, to get it fixed, happen again.
Look, you got a phone call back in 2 months.
Yeah. So,
But
all right,
we can address that. We can talk to Jefferson Parish Council, see if he can help us with something and see where we could go
Sure.
with it. I was just giving you a little suggestion.
Yeah, obviously it's
Might not be an eyesore,
No, I get it. And also, it's just as important from a safety standpoint too, because honestly, I can figure out the water situation, but it's like, it's a building that we're putting a lot of money into, and it's investing in the city here. And again, just like Sherwin-Williams, we're kind of in that like bullseye, like the highway looking straight at us. God forbid somebody veers off the road and just smashes in our building. There's definitely like, I guess, ways or opportunities to put these, safety barriers or a bollard, if you will, without it being like an eyesore, like to make it presentable. But it's very much from a safety standpoint also, because I can't have customers in there waiting and then a car smashes through it, zero safety.
And I'm not totally against the bollards. I
Sure.
just don't think they could be out by the street.
You cannot put a bollard
On city property. Agreed.
on any state highway. You're not allowed. It's a state law.
If it goes to his property, you can.
If it's on his property. But if it's in the reach,
He's
if
saying
it's,
the water meter's on the city property, so
Right.
he can't there. That's
Correct.
what I'm saying. I'm not against the bollards on his building to stop someone from going through the building.
Right.
So,
I'm
Mike,
against them out by the street.
I think this is a city street. This is St. Cyr, I believe. Is it on St. Cyr?
Yes,
So it
correct.
is a city street. I'm concerned about putting bollards there
you
also.
cannot put a bollard near a roadway.
Okay.
It's a state law. You can't do it, any road. So.
But we'll certainly work on trying to see if we can get some answers.
Yeah, we definitely need to work on it, because,
Somebody gets an accident,
Sherwin-Williams has, a whole charade of them, and if I can't
But it's
have-
on his property. It's not.
Right, it's not on city property.
Right.
Yeah,
So
well,
that's what I'm saying, the bollard to block the water meter, if the water meter's on city property, that's not gonna happen.
sure.
But if you want the bollard to protect your building, it's a different story.
I mean, I know you have concerns of it. Honestly, I don't know of anyone hitting that building, although I do know of someone driving through City Hall. I know we're hitting Jack's lawnmower 6, 7 times, and then, right there. But your building, since I've been here in the past 20 years, I haven't seen your building get
Thank
hit
God.
yet. And
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
But, so, since y'all said on a state highway, you couldn't install a bollard, I'm definitely not asking for it to be like on the road. The water meter is like in the middle of this grass patch, that, is essentially meaningless at this point. I wanted to do like some type of landscaping there, but again, this is kind of why I'm here to try and, figure out a remedy that's presentable, but that's not like encroaching on traffic, because obviously I get like a car, is on the road.
Paul, is that?
It can't shrink the
That's
road.
the state highway, correct?
The state highway is
That's the
Jefferson.
state.
Jefferson Highway?
Yeah, but his part's on,
This
his
is
part's on
St.
St. Cyr.
Right.
This is on
Yeah.
St. Cyr.
If the truth is, though, if he just shrubs it, they just gonna run a
And
shrub
there's
down.
Second Street.
And honestly, I mean,
It's
to
on
me,
St. Cyr.
if
It's
you,
on St.
I was thinking, if you cement that part, that's just gonna give them more of a runway to drive on.
Right.
Yeah.
Second Street, change it
Yeah.
to St. Cyr Street.
Right, yeah.
That's the only reason why I'm opposed to it, but I think yours would look more, clean cut, but obviously that's the thing where it's, I can fit my tire
Well,
there.
let's work with the councilman in District 2. They work very well with this, and let's see if we can get this thing moved.
Now,
I appreciate it.
what we could do is put a sign on a post there.
You could do that.
And then that would stop, that would stop
Not a
those
bollard,
trucks.
but a sign.
Okay, but here's my only problem with that is I have no parking signs in the front of my house. I've already replaced them like 8 times.
Well, that's your problem.
8 times.
Yeah.
I think
But it
people,
can be simple as a parking sign. We're not worried about you.
Yeah, we're not worried about your job.
they just come clean through my front yard. It's like a,
I think you
Fast
got
time.
everybody's attention. I think we'll look forward to
Yep.
see what we can do to
I
help
think
you
we
get
put-
it.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it.
I think we put a large no truck, because they're turning right there.
right.
So we put a very large sign there and one at that approach.
Yep.
Right, yeah, there definitely needs to be one at the approach. It's actually right in front of Waterworks, and it's just a blank sign with, nothing on it. And they
Right.
do have a no truck route sign right in front of my building on the light pole. But I think when they see it,
It's too late.
Too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too late.
Yeah, and,
Beforehand.
I've had like several police officers too who I know personally. They're like, hey, like I definitely saw a guy, take that same turn.
Right.
And it sucks for me to like invest in this, and I obviously have customers in our showroom
That's
to
okay.
take the risk of somebody,
We got you.
I say we do it. We get ready to go out there and put 2 signs up.
Okay, got it. Do it
That's how
tomorrow.
we do it.
I'll do it
We'll
I
tomorrow.
appreciate it, guys.
All right,
Thanks
thank
for your
you.
help.
Thank you.
The good thing with signs, they still might hit the signs, but at least it'll ruin their
Well,
truck.
you can pick it up. You can pick it up and put it back like he does.
Take out a radiator. I don't know.
Sometimes I can't.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the building they're talking about, if anyone doesn't know it by 6499, because it hasn't had an address in 2 decades, is the old Chinese restaurant.
Right.
So I can't have bollards on a state property, but I was wondering if there's any type of grandfather clause to it, because I know this Jefferson is different from Harahan, but I have a business in Jefferson, and right next to my business is Baldwin Taylor Hardware Store.
Right.
They are right on the sidewalk, and then on city property is bollards around the entire thing. So I'm curious if we would be grandfathered in by chance, because the building was built so close to the highway.
If the bollards were there, the bollards would be
Yeah.
grandfathered.
But
in,
not to
they're
put them
not.
in.
I mean,
Right, you can't.
that's my opinion.
Right.
That is that is the,
Baldwin Taylor Hardware was there before Jefferson Highway probably.
Yeah, Baldwin Taylor has been there for a long time, but from the sense of safety and just protecting, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that building is one of the oldest buildings in Harahan, and having to do any of the renovations we've already done, I mean, it kind of takes away from the history, and we're trying to keep as much of that as possible. So if someone decides to drive through it, then that's more changes being made to such a, I don't want to say landmark, that's how we see it. It's such a good building. It's a Chinese restaurant. It was a barber shop at once, a hardware store at once, and we're really excited to get into it. I think my main concern as a mother is that I will have a 1-year-old child in there as well, and sorry, the thought of like that happening. But like, I get it. If it's
We'll figure out something.
We'll
against
see what
the
we can
state,
do.
it's against
Yep.
the state.
Yep.
But I just figured it's more than just the water meter, is
Well,
what I'm saying.
what we
It's
can-
about
What we can
safety.
do is put these heavy posts in the ground, because it can't be a bollard. It cannot
Yeah.
be a concrete steel bollard, but you can put a very heavy signpost in the ground.
Okay.
Then that would deter some damage,
I
I'm
will
sure.
say,
The only
my,
thing you need to be careful about, apparently there's a water line right there.
yeah.
Right, well, I mean,
I
that's...
will say my brother has been a truck driver for past 20 years, and he's never cared about a no truck sign. He will tell you if it's the easier route for them to go or if they've missed their pass turn, they don't care what the sign says. They're making that turn. And I personally think the bollards would be the only thing that would deter the truck because it's the only thing that would damage the truck if they didn't follow the rules.
And I'm going to tell you this, on the hardware store, Jefferson Highway did not start out with 3 lanes on each side.
Right.
So they expanded those highways to meet those frontages, so
Yeah.
that's why those things are grandfathered in.
I gotcha. That makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll close public hearing. All right, and we're going to vote on proposed new business number 5. All in favor?
We in favor of.
Letting them allow him to put the bollards.
Not bollards,
All right?
signs.
No, wait, but this is specific to bollards.
So I think what we need to do is decide if we're going to vote for this as it's written, or we're going to vote against this as it's
I
written.
think we're going to vote, well, we're going to need to vote for, we need to vote on it as it's written.
Right.
And then if the city's just going to go put signs out, then we just do that.
Yep.
Yeah, the solution is not this.
Right.
Correct.
So I think we do need to vote on it.
So all in favor of the bollards? All opposed to the bollards?
Nay.
All right, 0 yeas, 5 nays. Tomorrow, we'll be out there. If not tomorrow, I'll try to be out there Monday. We'll look at something, we'll get some pictures, I'll get it to the water company. And in the meantime, I'll at least temporarily put up 2 no parking signs, make sure we don't drive them through the water lines, just so we can kind of start to gauge, if somebody's hitting them or not. But I'm going to tell you right now, somebody's going to take those no parking signs down, if they're there. So we'll come up with something, though.
We're going to try to figure it
We
out.
need to get that water meter moved. All right, Madam Clerk?
Okay, new business number 6, the Harahan Police Department would like to host the annual John Doyle Christmas Parade on December 14th, 2024. The parade will start at 12 p.m. with the street closures beginning at 11 a.m. The parade will follow the usual route, starting at Horde Street and Jefferson Highway and disbanding at Full Street by the Winn-Dixie.
Okay, new business number 6, Chief, you want to, it's all you. Yep, go ahead. We might as well just,
I would just say a quick point on this before the chiefs get started. The agenda says the Harahan Police Department is requesting. The chief's letter says we will host the annual Christmas parade. So
Correct, we will host it.
he's just notifying everybody that the Christmas parade is going to happen.
In any opposition, you'll be arrested on December 13th.
No, we can all get along. We can all get along, work together. Good evening. Just real quick, I'll go do my report then real quick while I'm here. Jason's got me on 3 minutes, so I gotta go quick. As he stated, the Christmas parade we're gonna have on December 4th. It'll be the 2nd annual John Doyle Christmas Parade.
14th.
As Kerry said, it'll start at noon on its original route at Horde, ending at the Winn-Dixie. The roads will be closed. 14th, or 13th is the arrest. No. I'm sorry, the 14th. This parade keeps growing and growing. We're actually going to have 2 high school bands, which has never happened before in this parade. We're looking forward to it. We've already got 22 organizations that have called that want to participate and be in the parade. And I just learned this evening there's another car club that wants to be in it. So it's growing. If you'd like to participate and be in the parade, reach out to my secretary, Kathleen Lewis, at 504-737-4800. The parade's open to everybody that wants to be involved with it. If you're going to have a vehicle in it, we just need your insurance and driver's license that you'll be, and what the vehicle would be that you're going to be driving in it. We're hoping for good weather. We're hoping for some cool weather, not too cold, but something to make it feel like Christmas, and we'll have Santa Claus again with the parade. So come out and enjoy it. It's a great family event for the city of Harahan. I look at it, it's a Harahan parade, not just the police department. We just happen to be the ones handling it. With that said, real quick, last month for service, we had 732 calls for service. We had 17 accidents in the city. 126 citations, traffic citations were issued. As a reminder, please slow down in the school zones because we are writing tickets. We actually wrote 2 school buses speeding through the school zones.
All you gotta do now is get the postman.
Well, we work on them. We're working shorthanded with officers, but our officers are out there doing a great job protecting our city and doing the work. We had 11 patrol requests of folks that were going to be on vacation for checking other houses. We had 117 patrol requests. They checked 927 businesses during the nights, during the month. Traffic enforcement, we did 266 traffic enforcements. Out of those 266 traffic enforcements, we did write 126 tickets. But we have given some warnings to slow down, but we're starting to keep an eye on repeat offenders. So if you're one of those repeat offenders, you need to slow down because we will write you a ticket. We had 43 municipal arrests. We had 71 municipal charges. We had 6 felonies. We had 37 misdemeanors. We had 1 DWI arrest in the city. We had 24 city charges and 3 traffic charges. We did have 4 narcotic arrests on 5 charges, 1 felony, 3 misdemeanors, and 1 city. We do have some open investigations that we're working on. As I've said before, Harahan, we're starting to see more and more issues coming in from outside of our area. Folks coming into our city trying to not be good neighbors. We are investigating and we will take action on those folks. We did have 1 simple robbery, and there was an arrest made on that case. We had 4 thefts, shopliftings, 2 attempted thefts, and we had 4 assaults domestic. Those are the statistics for the month. I want to say that when I took office, I got a lot of assistance from a lot of the surrounding agencies with donating vehicles. When I took over, our fleet was pretty old. And I thank Kurt Talbert and our state rep, Big John Ibb, for getting us funding to buy new vehicles. With that said, Roseland PD, which is a small municipality with 6 officers, a little town in Tangipahoa, reached out to us, and we were able to donate 2 of our older units that were still decent. We were able to donate them to Chief Andrew Henderson with the small PD. So it felt good that Harahan's able now to be giving back, paying it forward to other smaller departments than what we are. So we were pretty proud of being able to assist another department in keeping their community safe. So I want to thank the city for passing the ordinance, the council working with us to donate those cars. Holiday season's coming up. We want everybody to be safe. We will be starting up a task force, if you will, Christmas task force, where you'll see the units going through the neighborhoods with their lights on for safety reasons. So if you're going to be out shopping and you feel like you're being followed home, call headquarters and let us know your address, and we'll meet you at the house. We'll have a unit swinging by while you get out your car. We want everybody to be safe and enjoy their holiday season without having to worry about becoming a victim. Scams, we're getting a lot of reports on scams, phone scams. Folks are getting calls that their lights are going to be turned off, or just a lot of different scams. Some have gotten a call that a loved one's been arrested and they need to get them out right away to send them a card. As soon as they say send a card, call headquarters. We did get 1 call. We sent the unit out. The resident kept the guy on the phone. Our officer got there, picked up the phone, identified ourselves as the Harahan Police Department, and we got a dial tone. So be cautious when you receive different calls like that. Let us know. I do want to encourage everyone to download the Harahan Police Department app. It's a good opportunity to get updates, knowing what's going on, things that are happening. I know sometimes it gives weather updates. It gives them all constantly when there is bad weather. You can adjust the number of notices you get on the app. So, we encourage everybody to stay in touch with that. We did have a successful Halloween night, and sometime next year I'll get with the council. We need to have a talk on what we can do better. We had a pros and cons, what we did and what we did. I've never seen so many people between West Imperial and Dosher and all the side streets. It was incredible to see. The folks, there had to be over 5,000 people out there. A lot of the residents were participating. West Imperial had a lot of houses that were decorated, and it was great to see the city. It does take resources, though, to be able to provide security and medical attention for the folks. Unfortunately, we did have 4 medical issues. 2 were kind of major. One lady was passed out. I think it was a medical condition. Another lady, unfortunately, she stumbled, broke her nose, her jaw, and knocked her teeth out. Unfortunately, it was dark. She was carrying candy. So we want to be safe, but we need to address, as a council, we need to kind of have a conversation on more lighting. I tried to get more lighting out there for the light towers from the parish. They did lend us some, but we need more. We do have 2 coming that I was able to get through a federal grant, through the Shishu grant from Jefferson Parish. So we'll have at least 2 more light towers next year, but we're trying to get more. I want to thank Todd. I've been meeting with Todd on the budget, making sure the police department budget that we're in where we need to be for next year. Obviously, a lot of things have gone up, and it is costing more. So we have to look at adjusting that. But I want to thank Todd for taking his time and coming, sitting down with me and meeting. We've scheduled a couple of more just to make sure we're in compliant. With that said, Jason's throwing stuff at me. My time's up, but I want to thank everybody, the citizens, for their cooperation. If you feel you need the police, call us, anything. We're coming out. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll wish you a Merry Christmas, but be safe. If you feel like you need the police, call us, and we'll come out. And thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Okay, so we're going to vote on new business number 6 for the parade. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Chief, your parade is approved.
Address the council.
Unanimously.
You know.
So I want to be clear.
Okay, so if anyone wants to address the council about any concern you may have, even Ian Roche, who's here tonight in attendance, and I just want to give him a shout out because, believe it or not, he was very instrumental in helping me clean up Oak Street. We met quite some time ago, and it was he didn't think that I'd want to hear him or pay attention, and I said, well, I do want to hear what you got to say. I do want to pay attention, but I want you to come get involved, and let's go do it together. And let me tell you something, that's what he did, and we worked very hard, and we still got a lot of work to do, but we got out and we've done it. So I do want to acknowledge you here tonight, and I do want to thank you because that's what we should be doing as a community, exactly what you and I have been able to do together. So thank you, Ian.
Thank you.
All right, yes, ma'am.
It's Josie Bernard again. When we were talking the other night, off the subject of the assisted living, you said that there were plans to redo Wilson and Monroe.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Do you have a timeline on that?
Let's ask the mayor the timeline.
I've had a sinkhole in front of my house a couple of times.
We can do it tomorrow. No, we can't do it tomorrow.
I'll say that.
They put a drain in, a new drain in.
The council approved $65,000 to have it repaved.
No blacktopped.
Blacktopped.
That's on Wilson or Monroe?
On Monroe.
Okay.
You know, just the one block. And I know the mayor was trying to explore other options, but we're pushing them now. to move that
Yeah, it's pretty
this
bad.
time, right?
And it's probably.
It was bad when they I don't even know what you call they did.
No, I don't know what they did either, because then it just got worse.
I
But
don't know what that was.
But I don't know if is it because of the
give up.
drainage? Because, I mean,
Really what happens,
is
what's wrong with Monroe is the subsurface of Monroe, there is none. And basically, you're just putting blacktop on loose gravel or whatever. So what we were doing is we were trying to figure out the homework of actually coming in and setting an underbase under Monroe and re-blacktopping it, or going to concrete, which another councilman and I had quite a discrepancy about this, and because believe it or not, it's about the same money. And so I wanted the concrete because I'm not a blacktopper, and because I think that's just Band-Aiding a problem. And so I was asked, if you want to blacktop it, you go to the legislature, you go get your own money, because I'm not going to approve you to blacktop it. I'm not going to approve you to concrete it. So I went to the legislature, I got my own money to concrete it, but now we're having a difference of opinion that through the council and myself, that they think they can do more streets with the money that I received, because when you go to the state and you're asking for capital outlay grants, it's very specific of what you can ask for. And when you're asking, it's got to be very specific. And the 4 streets we asked for were OK, Monroe, Resor, and I didn't ask for this, but State Representative Big John Hill put Elfer on there. All right, so I got in trouble for that too. And so we do have $1.5 million allocated to the city of Harahan to concrete those streets. However, I was asked by the council to go back to the legislature and ask them to maybe not be so specific in blacktopping, and concreting, and maybe blacktop more streets with the 1.5 million. Because we can blacktop quite a few streets with 1.5 million. If we're going to use concrete, we would have to be very specific on what we do. However, your street, whether we blacktop it or concrete, in my personal opinion, and engineering studies, and don't get me wrong, I'm no engineer, but I know engineers are smarter than me, they say it's going to be the same whether we blacktop or concrete.
well, I mean, it seems like the last time, it was patch jobs, or it's been patch
That was
jobs.
a bad patch.
Bad.
I don't want to patch it, I want to do it
It
right.
needs to be, scraped up and just.
It don't need to be scraped up, it needs to be redone completely.
Right, but I think that, I think there could be another underlying problem, and I don't know, I've
Absolutely.
noticed some problems too. I've had a sinkhole twice in different spots in the front of my house, and it just happened so fast.
So let me explain to you.
But y'all did put a drain in quick.
Ma'am, I'm starting to not like you, because all you doing is filling his.
All right, so let me explain something to you real quick. So this is what, because I'm the one on the streets every day with boots on the ground, because that's my job. Councilman, kind of just tell me what to do, what I can do with the money. We have tons of river silt sandbars under the city, and you will see your sinkholes pop up here and there, because when that river and that water table comes up underneath the city, when it drops back down, that river silt moves with it and it leaves voids. Now, I'm going to tell you, blacktop will not sustain a void when that happens. However, concrete will. So when that water's coming in and out, concrete will hold every time.
Right. My parents lived on West Imperial, and I've never seen that, ever.
Well, again.
You're in the works, I promise.
So I'm going to say, climate change, people want to
But
talk
no
about climate change.
timeline.
Climate change is, let me tell you, we want to talk about it all the time. It is real. We are warmer than we've ever been. And what happens with that river, because we're so close to it, you're seeing river levels higher than they've ever seen. So they're coming up very high. They're staying there for much longer periods of time.
levee
And we're
leaks.
flooding under the city. We have water. We know every time we bore or we move something, we're hitting aquifers. And the truth is that the person with the most knowledge about all of this was not me, and it was taught to me by a former mayor, Carlo Ferreira, who I thought he was absolutely wrong. You are nowhere. We brought out engineers and geologists, and this man was right. And so that's what it's called. It's called the river silt sandbar. And with your street, it's good if we blacktop it. You'll be blacktopping it again shortly, because it's not going to hold until we put the foundations in right. And in order to make your street with the right foundation, it will be the same to concrete it.
Let's put cement on it.
All right. Well, look.
Got my vote.
Got mine too.
Yeah.
It would be better. And I noticed on Wilson, though, that looks like they've already started marking some areas on that street,
We're dropping bore samples in right now. That's a different project. We got awarded $4,705,000 from the state to start rehabbing lift stations. And as we have the lift stations, we're also rehabbing the sewer lines that run along with them. So again, we're doing the same thing. Your problem's because you're kind of in that line of sight, right? We're doing the same thing. We need to know where those hot spots are in that dirt, because we ran across it when we did the first section of Wilson, which we white concreted, okay?
Yeah.
But we ran across the first section because we were putting infrastructure in place that wouldn't hold because of the river silt sandbars and the water table fluctuating. So we had to come in and we had to put screw piles under every culvert there, and then come above with the concrete and really reinforce that concrete, so as the water table and issues move up underneath it, it doesn't affect the street so much.
So do you pick a temporary solution or a permanent solution?
I want to pick a permanent solution, but it's the council's discretion on how the money gets spent. I went and did what I thought I had to do and
Well,
was
you'll just have to spend more money later.
Exactly.
We could asphalt your street and it'd be good for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, it's been the same for.
And I'll be dead, so we'll be good 15
I
or
mean, like I
20
said,
years.
and Councilman Johnson's right, we can asphalt it 15 to 20 years, which is a great idea, and I don't disagree with that. The problem is, it's the infrastructure, it's the base. The base is the money, it's not the blacktop.
And I'm gonna go as far as to say, you know, this Councilman Johnson says that, you know, I grew up on Colonial. I've been there for 47 years. Colonial is concrete. I've only had them repair a couple of sections here and there through my whole lifetime. I'm not gonna say concrete's not gonna last, it's not better, it's not it. But in the same note, I'm gonna tell you, you're not the only street with a problem. So if we could take $1.5 million and do 10 streets, I'm gonna try to do the 10 streets.
Well, I get that
I mean, it's up and down. In your street, the engineers are looking. If your foundation's worse than other streets, we are gonna spend more money on your street. I do know, 12 years ago probably, they did the worst patch job I've ever seen in the history of any kind. It looked like the cartoon racetrack car or whatever it was, where they come through and put a little slop on the ground. I don't know what they did, but that was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, and I mean, like I said, in the 22 years I've been there, it's never been, with the exception of that, whatever
So
job.
just so you know, Monroe is the #1 street. It will be the first street we touch again when we touch streets. It is the
Well,
number
I mean,
one.
even if it's blacktop, that would still, you know, it'd be better than what's there now.
Yep.
You know, it's just truly a mess.
I knew you were coming up for that.
That's okay.
But I like you being here. Come back next month.
Look out on the webpage, I'll be even more.
Maygene Cazenave, Oak Avenue, Harahan. I'm here to speak about the upcoming term limit election that this board has not talked about at all, and let the people know. 9 out of 10 people in Harahan don't even notice the election is going to take place on term limits.
Did
The
we?
state has term limits,
Did
the
we not-
president has term limits, the parish has term limits, we have term limits, and it appears that you all want to get rid of term limits.
Did we
Did you
do,
read the ordinance?
I'm going to read what's going to be on.
Can you read the ordinance?
excuse me,
Huh?
Did you read the ordinance?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, y'all going to repeal it. This is what's on
Read the whole ordinance.
This is going to be on a ballot that the people are going to have to vote for.
did we
You
not
read-
make this public?
Repealing ordinance number
Ms. Majine,
1046.
can I stop you for 1 second? This was made a public record and publicly notified. So just so you understand that part, we did our due diligence. Look, I get what you're saying. You know, I'm not going to say that I agree with what is being proposed, but it is up to the voters on that day, and it was publicly, and it is being distributed, I believe, in a flyer throughout the city right now as well.
Well, I've been living in Harahan my whole life, and I have never received a flyer at my house telling me about this upcoming election.
No, I think the opposition
And a lot
is
of people
distributing
are
flyers.
asking, they don't even know this is taking place. But anyway, this is going to be on a ballot for the people to know. You all are repealing ordinance number 1046 to impose limitations on the number of terms which an elected official of the city may serve be repealed. A lot of people don't understand what the word repealed means. A yes vote eliminates the term limits. If the people vote yes, it eliminates the term limits. A no vote keeps your 2 term limits that we have right now. So if the people are smart, they would vote a no vote to keep the two-term limits, which is what we have right now. And I recommend that everybody votes no to keep the term limits.
Thank you, Ms. Majin.
Hi, Janet Wild, 337 Carolyn Drive. I just wondered if you all can, we need a light, a street light on a corner of our street, Carolyn and Jefferson.
Did they have one there before?
At that one
And it's
time,
out?
yeah.
Okay.
Carolyn and Jefferson Highway?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't think there's a light pole there. I don't know.
Tim Crowley, 2037 Generis Drive. What I wanted to ask is if, when they start the closing of the ditches on Hickory, what's going to happen is that the same thing that happened the last time when they were doing the paving about a year ago. They used Generis as the through street. And because of that, it took probably almost a day, but I think enough residents in the area called, and we did get a police presence on Generis to slow people down. Okay, I just would like to put it noted in to when they do start, to please put a police presence on Generis to slow people down. They're using it as a speedway. Just, they don't understand that Generis is 20 and Hickory is 30, okay? And they act at like Generis is 30.
Now they act like it's 45.
45, yes, okay. So I just wanted to be noted that to please make sure that you have police presence when they do start the ditch work.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you.
sir.
Thank you for letting us know. It's awesome.
Hi there. Sally Desmar Kuzort, 7103 Wilson Street. Congratulations on your parade. Couple of questions. We received a letter in the mail from Jefferson Parish about the water and the lead. Just wanted to tell everybody, if you go to ewg.org and then scroll down to the water database, type in your zip code, it'll tell you all of the chemicals that Jefferson Parish has in the tap water. And they are enormous amounts of chemicals, over and above government guidelines. So strongly suggest get a pre-filter. You know, does anybody know about this letter? I know they did soil testing on Wilson, but are they doing soil testing everywhere?
Our soil testing's for a different reason. Our soil testing so we can put the sewer infrastructure implementation in place.
That's nothing to do with the water.
But however, let me tell you where you make a great point, because as we start to open streets to start doing the sewer, we're going to work in tandem with the parish to come in and start to replace those lines. We do it every time with them. Like I said, we have a great relationship with the parish, and we're already opening the streets already, so they don't have to incur any of that cost. It's just a matter of taking those old, the cast iron lines out and replacing with new PVC.
Okay, but they're also saying that it's, if I read the letter correctly, that it's on the residents' side.
That would be on your expense.
Well, I think that some of the homes previously built had lead connections, lead pipes, things of that nature, steel pipes that have been corroding for years. And so there are concerns about those things on the city, on the resident side. So I think that's some of the things that they were kind of referring to on that.
So the parish put out a couple of different statements across websites and social media sites that said that everybody received those letters. It doesn't necessarily, they were required to send them out by the federal government. Doesn't necessarily mean that there are lead pipes on your property or near your property. It's just making you aware that they could be lead pipes. and that you should have them tested. And if they are lead pipes on your property, you should have them replaced. It's kind of unfortunate that they just did a mass mailing like that, but I guess it was required by the, EPA that required them to do it.
EPA.
Okay. In reference to the December 7th ballot, I'd like to know from each individual, are you for or against term limits?
Did you read the ordinance?
Yes, I did, but I'm still would like an answer.
Yeah, so I'm going to go, we have our report section. I'm going to talk about each of the 3 local, because it's more than just the term limits on the ballot, right? There's 3 local for the parish and 2 for the city that I'm going to talk about each one of them in my report. So you'll get my answer then, if
Okay.
that's okay.
I'm going to, in my report.
Yeah, let us do our reports and we'll answer you, every one of us will.
So nobody wants to answer tonight? on
No, we can
record?
answer you in
I
about
know-
5
I
minutes.
know.
I'll say
I'm
no.
voting yes.
I'll say no.
I'll say no, too.
Wait, no to...
4 term limits or?
Term limits?
Against.
I'm
I'm for term
against.
limits.
I'm for term limits.
4 term limits.
I think everybody up
I'm
here is
voting
for
no.
term limits.
Right.
Yeah, I think everybody up here is for
Now,
term limits.
but I'm going to get into it now.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Because what we did, the
Why don't you
council...
listen,
Ms.
if
Minky.
you want to know what's going on.
Eric, well,
Listen if you want to know what's going on.
please, I'm speaking. The council and the mayor, and I believe the police chief, all recognize that it's a real issue when you serve a maximum of 8 terms. You got to get reelected. 8 years. Your first 4 years, you're just figuring things out. Your second 4 years, you're effective. And the mayor's been very successful in bringing millions of dollars into the city of Harahan from the state of Louisiana. We never got that before. The way we got it was building relationships. The mayor led a team of councilmen who went to the state, at Baton Rouge, every Tuesday when they were in session. And our representatives, John Ilg and our Senator Kirk Talbot, walked us around and introduced us to everybody. And as a result of that very successful campaign, based on relationships, we got $5.5 million last year. $5.5 million. That's a year's budget almost. That we can repair streets. We have no budget for streets. There's no millage or tax or anything for streets. So what we figured out, and the mayor helped me understand it, is that cities like Westwego have a leg up on us because they are a 3-term city.
No, they have no terms. West Bank has no terms.
I'm sorry, I thought they were 3.
West Bank has no terms.
So the first effort was to try to put up a vote to go from 2 terms to 3. Based upon that logic, we think it would benefit the city greatly if we don't lose those relationships. Plus, city government will function better because if you go to 3 terms, the last 4 years, you're going to have people that are experienced. And we'll move the city's business along. We'll understand the budget better. With part-time jobs, full-time budget. So we passed an ordinance putting this on the ballot, realizing that a lot of people would be thinking, well, we don't want term limits. We also, in that ordinance, committed to all 5 councilmen to, if it passes, we're going to put up an ordinance for 3 term limits. This is a long shot. Is it going to pass? I don't know. Everybody's going to vote the way they vote. But there was no desire to go to no term limits when we passed that. It was a desire to go to 3. But our bond attorneys tell us that we cannot go from 2 to 3. We have to go from 2 to 0. And then we can go from 0 to 3.
Hold up, Mr. Bunny.
So to wrap it up real quick, I'm in favor of term limits. I won't be running again regardless. But I'm in favor of term limits, but I think 3 would be better. And the only way for us to get there is if the citizens decide to trust that the council will come up and do what we committed to in writing. Is if this passes and we go to 0 term limits before there's another election, we're going to come back and put up an ordinance and go to a vote for 3 terms. We're committed to that. So whether we're for term limits or not, and I'm for term limits. I voted for it whenever, 20, 30 years ago when Harahan instituted it. But to get to 3, we think it would be better, and we've got to go to 0 to get to 3.
Do we think that if we went to 3, we could get Wilson Street done?
Well, so I think, so let me, look, I'll
The
answer that
reality
question.
is.
So let me ask this question.
Wilson Street is going to be done with money that the mayor and his glad handling, literally, it's based on relationships. It's all based on
So
relationships.
let me answer this question for you, which is a great question, by the way. We're still, you still have to go through all of the bureaucracy to get the funding down. We were approved from it 2 years ago. We have not seen a penny of it yet. So will you get Wilson Street done in my tenure as a mayor? No. You will not. Because again, I am not running for a 3rd term, no matter what. And will you get it done? So next mayor will have to pick up from where I left off and start it. Now, my argument is a little different than Councilman Buddy's because even though I agree with him 1,000,000%, I'm for term limits, but our legislature has 3 terms. So what happens and I've had the ability to go in tandem with my state senator and my state representative, and I've got to spend 3 terms with them. And we've gotten a lot of federal money as well, and I don't want to discount that. But I've got to work with them through those 3 terms, and we've created incredible relationships. However, if we have a mayor that only sits 2 terms, that state senator and that state representative will have to work with 2 different mayors in his administration, which certainly kind of slows things down or doesn't, they have to rebuild or rekindle that relationship, not only with him, but with the rest of the legislature, right? And then number 2 is my other argument is since I've been mayor, I've already gotten 6 hurricanes in COVID. Now, in a mayor's tenure of 8 years, he is getting a hurricane. It's not an if, it's a when. That hurricane is going to take a couple years off his administration, and that's going to happen every time. I got 6. I don't even know how many Councilman Johnson got. He got 5, and so, again, you asked about term limits. We are in favor of term limits, but we are at a competitive disadvantage for everyone who does not have term limits, and at least we're just trying to get in line with our state delegation. And that was what's the proposition's about. I mean, people have made a lot of heyday about they are for or against term limits. We are all for term limits. We're just trying to get it to 3. And again, and the struggle is that, there's so much political unrest, and I know there's so much lack of trust in our elected officials these days, but these guys and myself went on record and in writing to say that if this is undone, we will come right back and put 3 in.
I do want to thank the maintenance department for coming out and dropping 2 bags of blacktop in the holes in the front of my house.
So, and I'm going to, I'm hoping that I can get.
It's keeping the people from going into somebody's house across the street.
I'm hoping that I get your project done in 2 years, but it'll be me and someone after me. So, again, you obviously can understand the challenges that's going to create.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else want to address the council? Now we'll close address the council, Madam Clerk.
Secretary's report for October 2024, total revenues, $1,159,006.89. Reports.
Chief LaPree's already done his. Chief St. Cyr is absent. Councilman Asbill.
So I do want to talk about 3 ballot measures that are on the December 7th ballot. Early voting has already started. It runs through next Saturday or Monday. Does it go to Monday now do you know? Anybody?
I want to say it goes to Tuesday because there's a holiday in between. It had me confused, but it's extended a little bit longer than normal because of the holiday.
It's going on now till sometime either Monday or Tuesday next week. I'm not real sure of that.
Tomorrow or Saturday?
I think it already started.
It didn't start.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
It's getting ready to start.
It's getting ready to start. Go vote. There's a couple of constitutional amendments on there. I encourage you to read up on those. There's, I think, 4 or 5 of them. There's 3 local, 1 for the parish and 2 for the city that I want to talk about specifically. I'll start with the city, start with the topic at hand is term limits. I am for term limits. As everyone else has said, I think it could be beneficial that if there were 3, we could get a little bit more done. I don't think this makeup is your stereotypical council and mayor makeup. We've gotten a lot done in 8 years. Not every council and mayor has been successful at doing that in a period of 8 years, and I see how it would be beneficial for a 3rd term. However, also understand that it's healthy to have a certain level of mistrust in government. It's what our nation's built on, And so I understand if citizens don't trust that that's going to happen, I get it. I can give you my word that if it does pass, I will immediately, like January, at our first meeting, put up an ordinance to have another election, which they're going to have one in March, to have another election to institute a 3-term limit as soon as possible. I won't be running for a 3rd term as well. So there's that. Second ordinance, second ballot measure is regarding the fire department fire millage. This is a millage renewal. It is not a new millage. It is a 5 mil millage renewal for the operation of the fire department. This is, for comparison purposes, the parish gets 25 mils in millage to support their fire department. Our fire department gets 5 mils plus the sales tax, which the citizens passed a couple of years ago. It would be beneficial for everyone in the city of Harahan to vote yes to renew the millage for that fire protection. The last one's really difficult for me. It is a parish school board millage increase, a new millage for 10.8 something mils. It is specifically for pay raises for teachers. I won't be voting for it for a simple reason. Not because I don't support teachers. I obviously support teachers. My wife is a teacher in Jefferson Parish.
He's sleeping outside tonight.
I don't support this millage because the parish, on every occasion they can get, continually exempt industry from these taxes to the tune of $80 million over the course of 10 years. Yet they come ask us for more while they continue to exempt multi-billion-dollar companies from their taxes. If they needed more taxes and they were collecting from all those people, I'd probably give them more. But I can't. You can't exempt big business from taxes and then turn around and ask individual homeowners to pay more because they're not paying theirs. So I won't be supporting the parish millage. Happy Thanksgiving. Go vote.
And then just for clarification, early voting starts tomorrow and runs through the 30th, with the exception of state holidays and Sunday.
And so Thanksgiving and thank you. Thanksgiving and Sunday starts tomorrow. Thank you.
You sure you don't want to be in that planning and zoning board, huh?
You're a council.
All right, Councilman Buddy.
I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, be safe. And just to make a comment on what our Councilman Asbill said, I don't think paying salaries, giving raises by adding new millages is sustainable. Because every 3-6 years, when you got to come back and give these employees a big catch-up raise, you're going to have to do a new millage. And one day we end up with, 412 millages. It's just not a sustainable way to provide for payroll. So that was my only comment to that.
Councilman Chatelain.
All right. Ordinance 2024-9. That's the proposal to get rid of the term limits. So you're going to get rid of term limits, and I hear people say the state says you could take it from 2 to 3. I don't know if these people work for the state or not. Our attorneys and our people that advise us from the state tell us you cannot take it from 2 to 3. You basically have to remove it and bring it back. I believe every council member up here, when we voted on this ordinance right here in April, this became public in April that this was going to happen. I believe every council member up here agreed that we're in favor of term limits. Councilman Johnson, Councilman Buddy, all of us. We also all agreed, and I believe even Councilman Johnson agreed, 3 term limits would not hurt the city. Made that public statement at the council meetings already. I'm in favor of 3 term limits for exact same reason Mayor Bodier explained. I think we get more for the city, more bang for our buck if you had somebody up here longer. Just like we said, and I had somebody criticize me already, you get a new council member, they get up here, it takes them 2 years to figure out what's going on. If somebody can sit here and tell me, no, that's not true, run for council, come sit up here and I'll help you the best I can. It's going to take you 2 years to figure out what's going on. Some council members get up here, not that we have that issue right now, but I've seen other council members get up here. After they win their first 4 years, they work really hard. They take 2 years trying to learn what to do. Then they figure it out, so they work the next 2-3 years really hard. Then they say, I'm out. They don't care what goes on. It's happened. I've watched it. Term limits were put in place to remove Police Chief John Doyle. And I'll say that to anybody, that's the reason term limits were put in place. Every 4 years, you have the opportunity to vote for someone. I don't care if they have term limits or not. If someone's not doing a good job, don't vote for them. I brought this ordinance up, I introduced it. I'm in favor of removing term limits, bringing them back as 3 term limits. I have a letter right here that I already signed. I'm gonna ask each council member up here if they could sign this letter. I'll distribute it to the citizens of Harahan stating, if this passes, we'll come back, just like Councilman Asbill said, in January, bring this up to put 3 terms on the platform. I understand people don't believe government. I understand it, I watch it. And this letter could be nothing to anyone. I signed it already. I'm gonna ask my 4 colleagues up here if they'd sign this letter. I distribute to anyone in the city stating, this is our beliefs, and we'll bring term limits back for 3. If that's not enough, and you don't have enough trust in government, I don't know what else to tell you, but that's our intentional plans. And for someone to get on social media and state, we're getting rid of term limits, we're not gonna bring them back, you could bring them to 3, go from 2 to 3. Obviously, they know more about it than us, our clerk, our attorneys at the state, our attorneys for the city, and I wish them the best if they could come steer us in that direction, tell them to come on in, volunteer their time, or we'll even pay them for their time if they could steer us in the direction to get that done. So I'm gonna ask each colleague up here right now if they could sign this letter, we could distribute to every citizen in Harahan, or whoever would like that. And that's where I stand on the term limits. I will be supporting the fire village. I believe our fire department needs everything they can. They already work on a low budget. And I will tell you, we do have another new fire truck coming. I can't wait for it to get here. We need it. We had a fire back in Harahan Oaks. Miss May Jean was here when we were talking about it, and she was totally against us getting a new fire truck. Totally against it. The next day we had a fire, we need a ladder truck back there. Thank God Jefferson Parish comes in and helps us. Guess what we saved? Nothing, a lot. They tore the house down, they building a new one. We need all the support we can for our fire department, our police department, our maintenance department, our sewer department. Sewer department don't matter to you until your toilet's backed up. Fire department don't matter to you until your house is on fire. Police department don't matter to you until somebody's speeding down your street. Every department in this city is very important to everyone. And every department in this city right now works hand in hand to make sure they can help anybody. The police need something for the fire, they call them, they help. Maintenance, call the fire, call the police, call whoever we need. Everybody's helping one another. You have a good group up here. There's no fighting, no arguing. Things are moving. The city's in a positive direction. We got the new park, walking track coming at the park. The city's in a positive direction. There's no reason to limit anybody up here from running again when we're in a positive direction. And if you don't like them, you don't vote for them every 4 years. You got 4 years. I believe term limits are to help lazy citizens who don't want to get involved and get out and vote. Because if you got somebody in there you don't like them, like, oh, they'll be out here in 8 years. That's my belief. So I'd ask all these colleagues up here if they could sign this letter. If they don't have a problem with it, I'd appreciate it, and I'd distribute to anyone who liked it in the city. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay. Councilman Johnson?
I want to ask if these guys are willing to sign this letter right here, committing to bring back 3 terms.
Yes. If that's what it says, I commit to signing it right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I do too.
Yep.
I just want to make one statement.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We have following Robert's Rules of Orders. We closed.
One statement.
All right, let me make a motion, open public hearing for Ms. Barbara Butera. All right, we have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain, that will open public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, but I do need you to come to the podium.
Councilman Asbill signed the letter, Councilman Chatelain signed the letter.
I just have one statement. I think everybody up there has done a very good job in the past 8 years, and we have gotten more done in the city of Harahan than we have ever had in that period of time since I've been living here, and that's a long time.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. See, now I'm glad I opened public hearing for you.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll now close public hearing. We did it just for you. Thank you, Ms. Barbara.
Unless somebody else wants to come.
All right, Councilman Johnston?
Some other
Yeah, we got
the
that.
whole audience wants to come
we
up
got
one
that
at a time.
sign coming to the city from Elmwood.
I'm sorry, one more
The
time?
city sign, welcome to Harahan.
Do we have a new one?
Oh, we got one coming?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that's what I wanted to ask.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Councilman Riggs. Appreciate it,
Yes,
sir. I know you're donating to the city, sir.
Yes.
I know you're the man. You're the man. Okay, first, I'd like to say I would appreciate everybody consider voting for the fire mill. You know, that's a renewal, and we definitely need to continue supporting the fire department with that $540,000 that they get from that. They need the money. We need to maintain our fire department. Remember, Jefferson Parish mills, 25 mills. We only pay 5 mills. So we want to maintain our fire department that we have. So please vote for that. As far as the term limits, when they presented the ordinance, I voted against the ordinance. I'm going to tell you why I voted against the ordinance and why I'm telling people on Facebook, and I tell my friends to vote no. Don't repeal the ordinance. I'm in favor of 3 terms instead of 2, and I've always been. Back in 2009, when I was mayor of the city of Harahan, the council presented an ordinance to change from 2 terms to 3 terms, and I agree with the council that 2 terms, the first 4 years you're, as a councilman or mayor, you're learning the job. The second 4 years, you know the job and you're on your way out. So you need another 4 years to continue the work that you've learned. So I think, like the state and the school board, they have 3 terms. So I think 3 terms is the best way to go. So when we were presenting the ordinance to the council to vote on, Hugh Martin at the time was the city attorney that handled all our elections. And he came to the council and presented to us and told us, Mayor, y'all can't do it that way. Y'all have to go before the people first and do away with term limits. You have to bring it to the vote of people and do away with term limits first, and then come back to the people to vote for 3 terms. And the council wasn't in favor of doing that. We didn't want to bring a vote to the people because the people voted on term limits already. So the council therefore didn't want to do that. They didn't want to bring a vote to the people to do away with term limits because we already voted on term limits. So therefore we pulled the ordinance to go from 2 to 3 terms because we couldn't do it. Then this council came forward and they wanted to present to do away with term limits because they wanted to go to 3 terms, which, you know, like I said, I was, and they know that, I'm in favor of 3 terms. But I don't know why we wanted to do it, but I was willing to vote to go present it to the people. And the reason why I voted against it, because for some reason we procrastinated.
Excuse me. The ordinance is right here. You voted in favor of it.
I did not. I voted against
There's
it.
the ordinance.
Well, she voted wrong. I voted nay.
No, you voted for it, but Paul,
I voted against it.
you were just voting to put it on the ballot.
That's all.
I voted against the ordinance.
Well,
I voted, but she put me yay. Well, we're going to have to find out. I voted nay. I did not vote to put it on the ballot.
Well, I'll pull a video.
We'll have to pull the video. I thought I voted against it. I'm getting over. I thought I voted
You
against
need
it.
to read those minutes, Council.
I'm out to read it. Well, I'm not in favor. Let me tell you why I wasn't, and I thought I voted against it.
That's why you voted for it.
You and
You
I
said you're going
both.
to bring it to a vote of the people.
You and I both agreed the same thing, to bring it to the vote of the people.
Well, the reason why I thought I voted against it, because November 5th was the day I wanted to get on the ballot, which was 70%. I figured 70% of people would vote. And for some reason, we didn't get it on the ballot for November 5th because we didn't get it before the bond commission in time. So then we had to put it on the December 7th ballot, which we hopefully will get 20% of the people out. And that's what I was against, because we're not going to get a full read of the people. You're going to get a small population out there that's going to vote on the ticket, on this ballot, on this proposition. So we're not going to get a full read of the people on what the people want. Just like the sales tax that was passed for the fire department. I voted for that, to increase our sales tax to 0.8%, which we increased our sales tax to help the fire department. But only 1,100 people voted out of 6,400 people. 1,100 people voted on that millage, on that sales tax. So on this thing for term limits, we might, if you have 1,100 people, that's not a good show of what the people think. I think there's going to be more people who's going to show up for this ballot because this is term limits. I think people are going to show up. But you may have 20% of people show up. That's why I wanted it on the November 5th ballot and not on December 7th. And I thought sure I voted against it.
To be clear, I think you voted against the date change, but then ultimately you voted for
Okay,
the ordinance as a whole.
So I voted against the date change.
But there's the ordinance. And the ordinance states to bring it back 3 terms.
Oh, I know that. I remember that Tommy put that in there. I remember that. So I voted against the date change.
So
but
can I ask you this? Do you think 3 term limits is a bad thing for Harahan?
No, I don't. I'm against the date. I'm against the
Okay.
date, the date of the election.
So if you're against the date, but you think 3 term limits are a good thing for Harahan, and I'm not saying you're saying it's a good thing, you're saying it's not a bad thing.
Right, but I don't think it should be coming up on December 7th. I think you're not going to get a
Okay,
good read of the
it
people.
is coming up on December 7th.
Right.
So we need to get the citizens of Harahan out to vote and do their civil duty to do what they believe is best for the citizen,
And I'm
for the
saying-
citizens and the city.
And I'm voting no, because
Okay.
we're not going to get a good read of the, if we'd have got it on November 5th, where we get 60, 70% of the people to vote on it, you get a good read, the people vote on it, they voted out, then that's good. But you're not going to get a full population, a good vote of the people, when you're going to get 20, 25% of the people to vote on it.
So-
I know we did, I know we.
No, this is a different topic. This is just saying if
No,
it
I
passes.
have no problem with 3 terms, I told you that.
If it passes,
If it passes, you'll come back and vote for 3 terms.
Right, yeah, I'm in favor of
If it
3
passes.
terms.
If
But
it
I'm-
passes.
but I'm
Now, hey,
against-
the key is, guys, everybody's got to get out and vote the next time to put the 3 back in place. I mean, it's a 2-step process.
That's
It's
exactly,
not a one-step
that's exactly what I'm
process.
worried about. If it passes, then
So-
what is to say we're going to get the people to vote for 3 terms?
Well, they'll get all of our votes.
That's why we wouldn't go that second step when the city attorney told us, you got to do away with term limits first, and then you got to come back to the people with 3. Let me tell you, when we got term limits passed, it was 1,700 to 1,300 people. It was 1,700 in favor and 1,300 against. Only 3,000 people voted, and that's when we had an older population in Harahan, and that's when Harahan had a 40, 50, 60% population. Now the older people are passing on, and the younger people are coming, and they don't vote like the older people used to vote. Harahan has a lower turnout of population of votes now. We don't have the and this was back in 92 and 93 when they voted on term limits. Now the people in 92 and 93, they're all, I can name you 500 people, 600 people that have passed away from 92 and 95 that were friends of mine that are gone now, 1,000 that are gone now that voted in that election. That's what I'm talking about. The people don't trust government anymore. People are so disgusted now that Trump won. Maybe we'll get people back into government and back interested. But people are so disgusted with government now, they're not interested. So that's all. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
And I'm still going to sit right here and ask Councilman Johnson to vote yes in favor of the no term limits.
All right, Councilman Ricks?
I would just like to say, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. It's always a great pleasure to see people involved from the city, all of our citizens, and I think we got some things accomplished tonight, as always. Thanks to the council for working so hard and all of the staff here. Thank you, Chief, for being here and giving us the rundown. Todd, we appreciate that as well. But everybody have a great Thanksgiving, have a great holiday, stay safe. You need some extra safety, give big man up here a call. He'll send somebody out to do it. But thank you very much.
I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Madam Clerk?
Excuse me, Mayor, can I have 1 minute?
Sure.
Guys, every council member up here has signed this letter right here stating, if this passes, we will come back in January and bring back 3 term limits. Like I said before, we need this to pass, and then we need everybody to get back out and vote for the 3 term limits. If they don't get back out and vote for the 3 term limits, it's going to be unlimited term limits. You know, so I'm asking, I think this is the best thing for the city of Harahan. If it wasn't the best thing for the city of Harahan, I wouldn't be asking for it. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Miss Barbara got up here, and I would have swore she would have said something different than what she said, but I appreciate it, and I believe Harahan is moving in a positive direction in a good way right now. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Madam
All
Clerk.
right, pay bills. Bills paid in October 2024, total expenditures, $812,006.72. Executive session, there is none. Adjourn.
All right, can I have a motion to adjourn? We'll have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Riggs to adjourn. All in favor? Yay. We are adjourned.